It's the Blues and the Tigers, and here come the Blues. Unfortunately, Steve Kernahan is out of this lineup. There's been a death in his family, passing away sadly during the week of his mother, so Sticks is back in South Australia. The Blues have been hard hit by injuries too in recent times, so they've introduced a number of young players. It's going to be very interesting to see how they fare tonight. And the Tigers, remember they did so well in last season's pre-season competition, making it all the way to the grand final and then getting beaten by Essendon. They are looking for big things in season 1995. Tony Free is not with them tonight. He's going to be with us in the commentary position. And also joining us, Malcolm Blight. One of the greats of the game, as you can see, played 178 games with North Melbourne. Kicked a few goals, 444 to be precise, played in their premiership sides of 75 and the memorable 77. Coleman medalist, Brownlow medalist. He's done it all in Victoria, he's done it all in South Africa. But let's face it, he is a human being. He did run into an open goal and miss.
But not in South Africa, Sam.
No.
Hi.
May I say welcome back.
Thank you.
It's great to have you back.
Yeah, it's great to be here too.
Excellent.
What a fantastic night too, nice and warm.
Well, it's really marvellous. It's been a sweltering day in Melbourne today, reaching temperatures in excess of 42 degrees. But on a serious note for the players, this is going to be quite all right, isn't it?
It is actually. Perspiration's the biggest problem on nights like this, rather than the heat. I think you just lose a bit of grip on the ball.
I mentioned that Carlton have been hard hit by injuries, and they certainly have.
Yes, they have. Obviously, Williams, Kernahan, those sorts of players. Justin Madden, the veteran's back again, and what a great trooper he's been for the Carlton side. Young fellow to look forward to, Camporelli from Woodville West Torrens in South Australia, speedy wingman, and of course the news of the last couple of weeks has been Glenn Martin, the transfer from Essendon to Carlton.
Yes, sitting at home one day and finding out that he hasn't got a club, and good to see that he has. The Tigers, well, it's going to be a big year for them, a big test. Brendan Gale is out there. Tony Free, as I mentioned, is not courtesy of a broken jaw, but he's looking forward to getting back in 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Yes, it looks a pretty established side, that. Many of the players have played football before. I think there's only one new player in that team. Just looking at some of the players, Matthew Richardson, of course, has kicked a lot of goals at full forward, has been used in other spots. Greg Deere, the ex-Hawthorn player, a great veteran and a great trier. And Stewie Maxfield on the wing will be dashing on his left foot.
The 1995 Ansett Australia Cup. Brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors, Nike, Foster's Lager, and McDonald's.
Having had the pleasure of watching you in the coach's box for a number of years, I've got to say you do look far more relaxed tonight.
It's 5 months. What a fantastic feeling.
The hair started to come back too. We'll take a break. Stay with us. This is going to be a big night on 7. Blues just disbanding and getting set for the first quarter. I had the pleasure of seeing Dipper hit the little white ball during the summit at the handicap. Come down, Dipper.
Yes, Sandy, he's come from 27 down to 25, and I'm ready for the Masters next year, Sandy. It's great to be back here in 1995. A great game here expected tonight, and plenty of water for the boys here, and number 44, Justin Manor, will be starting on the bench for Carlton, maybe because it's a bit warm for the big fella to start off. So, and Richmond coming off with a 20-point win over North Melbourne last week with plenty of positive thoughts.
Good on you, Dipper. And we look forward to his comments throughout the night, and also the comments from Ian Robertson and Tony Free. And Dipper, big news for you. Justin has not taken your advice. Oh, well, he has, I think. Maybe a little bit of cat and mouse. As we welcome Ian Robertson.
Well,
welcome back.
Started already, Sandy, hasn't it? All the coaches say. Well, Malcolm can tell us what goes on now in the early minutes of a game of football.
Well, basically, the players are just sorting themselves out. They know where they're playing. It's really, they're just not sure about the opposition, that's all.
Adrian Gleeson also going down on the bench. And a welcome to Tony Free, who, despite a broken jaw, can talk. Welcome, Tony.
Can speak well, thanks, Andy.
We look forward to your comments throughout the night. So this is it. First round match in the Ansett Australia Cup between the Blues and the Tigers. Koutafidis gets the first kick down towards the half-forward line for the Blues. No one able to take it cleanly. Solid tackle. Advantage is going to be paid as Big Earl's falling over the top to Bradley. The opening goal in the first 20 seconds has gone to the Blues.
Fantastic play by Koutafidis out the middle. There's been talk during the week, last couple of weeks, Ian, that he was going to play an on-ball role. And he got that quick kick forward. Hasn't been that type of player. He's been an out-wide player.
Well, he's a quick player too, Koutafidis, and I think that's what the Blues are looking for around the middle of the ground. Just maybe to add a little bit of strength to his game would be another plus.
Yeah, fantastic perception too from Bradley.
James Cook getting the first inside 30 seconds.
You got a chance to tip anyone? Or do you want to ask me?
Do we have to ask you?
The rest of the world's going for Richmond, but
All right, back in the middle, but an excellent start as Deere goes up for the Tigers, but he's beaten out of the centre. Trying to surge it forward was Ratton, still going down towards the half-forward line and sock it off the ground. And eventually over the line, as I mentioned in our opener, the black armbands for Carlton after the death of Annette Kernahan. And our condolences and commiserations go out to the entire Kernahan family.
And the player in picture that was there for a long time there was Glenn Manton, of course, Malcolm's mentioned, off the Essendon list and now playing with the Blues.
I think the important statistic there too is 2 centre breaks to Carlton. That's so important. I think Richmond have really got to tighten up in there.
So the bounce of the ball is between wing and left half forward for the Blues. The ball spills for Ratton. Ratton's left foot kick inside 50 metres. Manton in front, couldn't take the mark. Elliott, his opponent. Now a chance for Richmond to force it clear. And that was Miranda. And it goes over for a boundary throw in. The Carlton bench, Justin Madden, of course. Dipper gave us the tip on Big Justin starting there on the bench. And of course the odds. Well, I quite wonder where the bookies find those from, but 10-9 Carlton, 7-4 on the Tigers. The ball at centre half forward for Carlton. A chance now. Here's Camporelli. His kick into the player, the Richmond player, the defender there. It's cleared by Knights. Now Tate. The ball still at half back for the Tigers. Campbell gets it to Callaway, and now the Tigers are back towards the centre of the ground.
Yes, long kick by Callaway into the middle. Milhanna is there trying to block it in over the top. He'll get away. Trying to surge it forward was Koutafidis. Loses it, however, to Campbell. Campbell kicks it up towards half forward for the Tigers. Their first chance to go forward, but Whitehead is there for Carlton. A long hand pass going back towards the half-back flank region. Troy Bond is there. He sees it safely over the boundary line. Throw in on the outer side. Tigers just into attack.
fantastic ask for young Matthew Allen. Only played 4 or 5 games last year. Big job this, isn't it, to try and help out Madden in the ruck?
Well, you saw the game last year when Geelong beat them out here with a lot of their senior players. I thought Allen was quite good when he did come onto the ground.
Yes, he's got a fair leap for his size, hasn't he?
Koutafidis got it out towards Hannah, who had it only for a moment. Chris Nace tries to bend it round his body back in towards full forward, but the only one there is the reliable veteran in Peter Dean. Dean swings it back towards half back once again. Maxwell could have been held. You've been looking for big things from him, Tony, this year.
Yeah, very big things. He's been a little bit inconsistent, but a sensational talent, so we really need him to really fire up. Kicks in towards full forward. Coming across the front of the pack was Sexton. Got a hand to it, pushed it down in front. Another opportunity for Chris Nace, bending it round in towards goal. Over the top it goes. But Carlton have the numbers there, and they'll clear this through Milhanna. Away he comes with a casual bounce around the half-back line.
Well, Hannah has got plenty of time, and 3 bounces. Hand pass over the top. Whitehead's in trouble. Can get the handball back to Hannah, who was in as much trouble. But it's Bond now. A quick kick by that player. Bounces into the open. It's forced forward. An opportunity for Spalding at the back. Trying to tap it clear. Succeeds with his tap, but the pressure there just a little bit too much for Pearce, and the ball is forced over for a boundary throw-in on centre wing.
Yeah, the Richmond bench, already the handling of the players, just that, I can imagine that perspiration and slipperiness, some of the handballs just not finding their target at the moment.
35 degrees, no wonder. Here's Dundas, who has refused to see a barber throughout the summer. Off to Campbell. Swings it over the centre. A big pack of players, plenty of flyers. No one able to take it. And again, the Carlton defence being tested, but they're doing it pretty well. They're able to bring it out wide towards the wing. No one at home for Richmond. They've only been down into their attacking zone on a couple of occasions. It's been all Carlton as the mark is taken on a right half forward by Glenn Manton. Well, the other one to get another reprieve in his football career was Alan Thorpe, courtesy of the draft.
Young Camporelli was good then, Sandy. They had great skills then to get that ball on.
Throw in again in Carlton's attacking zone. Manton in from the side with the right hand. Deere tries to force his way clear. The left foot kick was partly smothered. Again, working hard was Manton over the top. It's very close to the boundary line. I thought he took it over, but the umpire said no. Losing it was Ratton. Fairly scrappy in the opening couple of minutes. This time it's over, but the whistle may have sounded before it did go, and we'll find ourselves with a back.
It's just interesting watching Glenn Mountain on the boundary line the first time then. He actually tried to pull the ball back in rather than carry the ball forward. I mean, it might have been one of the things that perhaps Essendon found in him in his game, that he really needs to keep going through the ball.
Camporelli can't break clear his kick. Was that on the full? No, according to the boundary umpire, so we'll have a throw in. The play is about 80 metres from the Carlton goal, between wing and right half forward. We have another look at the kick, and I would have thought that that was on the full against maybe the Richmond player. But still, the umpire, very close to the action. Here's a chance now for Matthew Dundas. His kick towards half forward, spills into the open. Naish bounces unkindly for Chris Naish. It spills, he's going to get a free kick. Too high there, so Naish the chance to post Richmond's first score for the evening. He'll kick from about 40 metres.
I mean, it's interesting with the kick from Dundas. I didn't think it was a free kick either, by the way, but I mean, for a bloke that break clear, that clear, and not use the football and panic, I mean, no one ever gets caught running from behind 1 to 100. Great kick from Naish. What a goal kicker he is.
Yes, he is a good little player, neat player. So Naish kicks Richmond's.
Chris Naish opens the account for the Tigers. He's got there first. Dundas again got a hand to it, was unable to go on with it. Kicked up towards the half-forward line. Well, he probably should have picked it up at the first attempt, but couldn't, but they've got the numbers, and they're going to get out of it through Johnny Howe. Howe's left foot kick is wide. Had no one further forward and just pushed it over the line. Closest player to him was Justin Murphy, but he was well covered. So a throw in on centre wing.
Hoggy!
Deere working for front spot. Can't get it. Thrown out wide to Maxfield. Got a bit of pace and he uses it. Up inside 50 once again go the Tigers. They want a mark from Gale. They don't get it. They may get another one from Nate. He bends it back. Has it bounced through? Yes!
Very lucky Matthew Richardson.
Isn't that? I mean, no, sure. He tried to get it to him, and obviously just didn't quite hit it right. But the old banana backside, check side, hey, Sandy, always works.
Can't beat it.
Should have paid the mark anyhow. When you control a ball like that, Ian.
Well, I've got no argument, but the Tigers a little bit fortunate with the bounce of the ball, but it was a good kick by Naish to at least get it to the front of the goals. Chris Naish has kicked Richmond's 2 goals. Cook has kicked 1 for the Blues. Richmond lead by 6 points. Greg Deere received some plaudits in the press today from one of his ex-teammates, Lee Matthews, as a good player for the Tigers. A fight for possession. Bond, Richmond's best and fairest winner from last year. Chance for Tape. He leaves it behind. Bradley's in there fighting hard, but it's Campbell for the Tigers. He gets the handball wide. Not wide enough. Callaway in trouble. In goes Spalding. Again, a real battle for possession of the ball. Campbell neatly to Tape. Tape across his body. Wide out towards right half forward. Whitehead and Daffy, and the ball spills over for a boundary throw-in.
There's one player I really admire on the Richmond side, and that's Wayne Campbell. He had 3 attempts then. Absolutely 3 goes to get the ball.
Well, I was looking closely at the umpire who I thought had control then, and there was no free kick, so the other umpire at the left of screen must have awarded the kick to Whitehead. This is Bradley. No, it was Hogg, actually, kicking towards the 50-metre line. Spalding, the ball spills to the back. Big Earl, quick to recover. Cook tries to tap it onto Thorpe. In goes Howard, ever reliable Johnny Howard. The ball not clear. Quick kick by Callaway across the face of goal. It may go out in that right forward pocket for the Blues, about 20 metres around from their goal. Apart from the heat, a pretty well perfect evening for football. So I guess the players will be striving to overcome the difficulties that the heat creates. Boundary throw-in. Cook was the ruckman there. Elliott is in there for the Tigers. And number 28 for Richmond, Mark Miranda, getting up with the football.
Just got to be careful of that. I mean, 4 Richmond players in over the ball, and you've got to be real careful of the loose Carlton players. You just want to peel off a bit. You only need one honest at the footy.
Deere was able to flick it back. I know St Kilda officials are very keen to have a look at this game because after their victory yesterday, they play the winner of this match in the next round. Ratton in towards full forward. Pretty congested area. Back it comes to Bradley.
Craig Bradley from 45 metres. Let's go in towards goal. And bends it back too far on the home. Well, he, like a number of the big guns at Princes Park, have been under an injury cloud.
The new rule too from the kickoff now gives the fullback some sort of chance now to kick it to himself, and I'm sure we're going to see more of that in footy from now on in.
Turner brings it back into play. Manton, front spot to push the ball along in front. Tate gets the hand pass away, puts it out in front of Dundas, but he's going to be beaten by Hogg. Applies a good tackle, however, the ball spills free and over the line.
Great decision, really. The ball spilled in the tackle, didn't it? And so that was just knocked out. And there's the ball. Oh, well, yeah, well, it was almost. It was 50-50. Give the player in front the doubt.
Deere does it nicely over the back. Finds Chris Bond. Bond goes up towards the half-forward line. No mark is taken. Play on to Troy Bond. Bond a bit of time to size up the situation. Back towards the middle he goes. Good-looking kick in front, but unable to take the mark was Brad Pearce. Now an opportunity for Nick Daffy. Still going, but Hannah comes to meet him. Loses the football. Over the top of Campbell it goes. Another one back towards Bond. Bond goes in towards goal and puts it through.
As the umpire bounces in the centre, it's advantage to Deere. Dragged to the ground was Dundas, and dropping the ball. I would have thought maybe a little bit stiff, indicating that he got rid of the ball incorrectly. So the free kick is with Allen. Allen, a short kick, very short. Koutafidis has taken the mark in front of Campbell. He looks to play on and gets past Wayne Campbell and kicks in towards full forward. Too short. Cook's a chance. Johnny Howard there, so is Tate. Tate's kick smothered by Hogg. Opportunity for Bradley. In goes Hogg once again. Bradley to have a second chance at it. Now this is Thorpe. Thorpe, number 30 for the Blues. A shot for goal by Thorpe is pretty close. It's a goal.
Yeah, great smother from Hogg started all that. Kept the ball in the area. And the much-travelled Thorpe, who's been at the Swans and Footscray, and now obviously at Carlton, and can kick a goal. One of the greats. What a fantastic smother from Hogg. Bradley tries to go for the free kick. Quick give by, just missed that player then, and a great kick on the left foot.
An excellent start to this game. Alan Thorpe opening his goal scoring with his new club. The galloping hat-rack is on the ground and ready to do battle. There he is, and look at him sprint out of the middle almost. Well, he gets it out. Now a chance for Knights. Onto the left foot he goes. The Tigers go up towards Gale, and he doesn't let him down outside 50. Brendan Gale hurriedly plays on. Up towards full forward. Yes! Excellent mark at the back. And, of course, we saw this boy, Justin Murphy, last year. Well, he's lost it for a free kick. A bit of a push. But a pretty exciting youngster, particularly in front of goal, Tony.
Yes, yeah, he kicked 5 on debut against Essendon.
Yeah.
And he's, been a little bit inconsistent since then, but a very good mark and a great kick.
But the nudge didn't go unnoticed on that occasion as Peter Dean brings it back. Strong mark taken by Michael Sexton. Called to play on. Of course, the umpires in this Ansett Australia Cup match are microphone, so we'll be able to pick up plenty of what they've got to say. See go over the line once again is Mark Miranda.
Just to look at the strategy of the two sides. I mean, the Carlton players tend to... sorry, my teeth are back in.
Using a new glue.
Use the ball a lot better at the moment than the Richmond players, although the scoreboard doesn't say that. They're actually trying to find more players than what the Richmond guys are.
Madden and Deere were holding on to one another in that encounter from the throw-in, and it'll be interesting to see if they apply the same grip this time. Jostling away.
What did you call Justin Madden before? The what?
Galloping hat rack.
Interesting.
Do you find that sort of thing a little pedantic, Malcolm?
Well, you do, because, I mean, both blokes have got hold of each other. And look, I mean, that's just trying to gain for the ground. It's pushing the side. He's really not hanging on to him. It's Deere hanging on to the other bloke. I mean, it's just crazy stuff.
Play goes on, and it was Gale who got it out. Trying to get clear was Camporelli. Milhana over the top.
Like he didn't get penalised.
Yeah,
Camporelli there dragging it back.
He's only a young lad, isn't he?
Yep. Scott Camporelli.
Brett's doing a very good job on Knights. Retton's following around Matthew Knights, who, as we all know, has got great capabilities.
Gale to do the ruck work up against Madden.
Got him a kick.
Who wins it. Knights.
In towards full forward, a lovely looking kick. Over the back it goes. Oh, that's just a great kick. And Richardson is going to be shooting, well, 10 metres out.
It's interesting, so I was watching him at the time on Ratton, as I mentioned it, and yeah, just a great effort, that. Yeah, great kick, just had enough weight on it. Matthew Richardson just could have got his knee up then. I think if someone was a bit angrier than what Sexton was, then he could have got hurt.
This for his first, and he makes no mistake. One to Matthew.
The Blues 2-1, goals coming for Richmond from Naish 2, Bond 1 and Richardson 1, and for Carlton, Cook has kicked 1 and Alan Thorpe. Matthew Knights again, being creative, as we're used to seeing. Play on, will it be advantage? No, it's throwing the ball, is it? Back towards the centre. Well, looked okay, but it's been paid to the Blues and taken by Hannah. His kick was meant for Camporelli. Tape it is to tidy up. Now the rebound football, and Hannah probably giving away 50 metres, and I think he perhaps thought if he let it go, the Richmond boy was away.
But that's right. I think the thing that Hannah did wrong, he actually doesn't raise his arms. Watch this. He just belts into him. If you raise your arms and look as though you're going to punch the ball, the umpire sees that as fair game. So I think the important thing there is the technique of Hannah rather than what he did.
Well, Rogers has the football, and the penalty that Hannah has given away gives Rogers the chance to score from 35 metres. Lovely kick by Rogers. It's another goal to the Tigers.
That's knowing Matthew Rogers from South Adelaide days, Tony, his kicking has, when I first saw him play as a youngster, was the worry, but he looked very, very neat there.
He's very neat. He's renowned for his kicking on the run only after one season. He's kicked a number of goals and surprisingly accurate, so that's been one of his features with us.
Yeah, he lets the ball go two hands, and he's obviously worked very hard on it.
First kick for the night, and a 6-pointer to Matthew Rogers. 5 straight now. Plays at 2-1. Madden just stands his ground and thumps it with the left fist. They go forward once again, up towards the half-forward line. Coming from Pearce, down towards the 50-metre line, cleverly belted forward. Knights now under pressure to clear and just head for the boundary line. Thorpe won't get there in time.
How do you like the deliberate out of bounds? Did you ever sit in the coach's box and get frustrated when sometimes they're given and sometimes they're not?
Yeah, but when the moon is blue, they do pay it, and that's the only frustration.
You haven't changed a bit. That coaching set hasn't hurt you, I don't think. Here's the throw-in.
Stint. I've never heard of a stint before.
Well, what would you prefer? A holiday. Maxfield, away he goes. Gives it across to Wayne Campbell. Back to Maxfield once again.
Here's the ball.
Forward go the Tigers. Up inside 50. Backing is Richardson. Can he get there in time? And can he get support? No. Cutting across his hand, Christou. And he bangs it over the line.
Yeah, great. Fantastic running play. That's when you want the Richmond players to lead up, chip the ball. He can go again, create a hole at the back of him. I mean, just kicking it like that just sometimes is a waste after some fantastic play along the wing.
They have it deep in their attacking zone, however. Under 8 minutes remaining, Gale to contest with Madden. Well, Madden got the first touch, Gale the second. Naish, he loves it in front of goal, but this time he tries the other code.
Yeah, but that's exciting, I reckon. I mean, when they come off, the whole house comes down, and sometimes they don't.
And that could have been 3 goals to Naish in the quarter. I think Bond's trying to play a bit of a Wanganeen style occasionally and play very loose and creative from the back line. He's going to have to tighten up a bit, I think.
And Christou
goes long, well outside 50 metres, looking for Madden. Gale was in front. Looked as though he may have misjudged that a little bit. The kick goes in towards centre-half back, off the ground by Sexton, back towards the centre of the ground. Kick forward there by Callaway. Ball spills at centre-half forward for the Tigers. Murphy gets his left hand to it. This is Maxfield again, a strong player in the clinches. Knocked forward by Daffy. Opportunity for Callaway once again. Punched clear by Gleeson and Camporelli. The ball now in towards the centre of the ground. Bradley, creative. Will make something of this. After 2 bounces, he may go for goal. He kicks and covers the players and kicks the goal.
Yes, that's exactly what you'd expect.
The Blues third. They trail by 11 points with under 7 minutes remaining. Tigers have never won the pre-season final. The Blues have only one to their credit. Gleeson wins it out of the middle, but straight to Jamie Tape. He in turn crosses towards the right half-forward flank region, and Christou is leading in the race for the ball. Is he going to run out of room? Yes, just slung in. So too is the ball. Bomb. Under pressure from Naish. And over the line.
I think the players down the field love the forwards working like that, Tony, to keep it in.
They do indeed. I mean, you work your butt off actually in the centre and get it down there. It's nice to see the forwards working as hard. And, yeah, they're doing that down at Richmond at the moment. It's a good sign.
Justin Murphy was the one who persisted on that occasion. This time it's Gale, ridden into the ground by Craig Bradley. Ball spilling it free once again. Christou runs into a brick wall. Dundas unable to pick it up. Knights goes in and just flicks it out the back door. Here's an opportunity now for the Tigers. Up towards full forward once again. Oh, waiting at the back was Richardson. Has he got time? The big fella picks it up. Gives away a little ground. Gives away a lot of ground. And could have given away the football. He has. Camporelli kicks close to the boundary line. May have gone over before he took the kick. In fact, he had, and it will go all the way back. So a throw in on Richmond's left half forward flank. Matthew Rogers waiting down in front for the Tigers. Madden almost goes to ground. Somehow stays on his feet and belts it straight back over the line.
You tell me what was the difference between that one and the one on the boundary side the other time when Richmond got the goal? I mean, what's the difference?
Well, there's a couple of handy experience. Ronnie DiIulio, Greg Williams, Barry Mitchell, all watching from the sideline. Oh, Whitehead, clever throw really to Hogg. He goes back towards Koutafidis, who juggles a nice one. In towards the centre. Hannah was off, and the umpire concurred. Dundas shrugs a couple, gets it clear. Campbell a chance. If he can go over the top, they can start something here. Dundas inside 50. He's going to have a shot for goal. 40 metres out, and he's put it through. Matthew Dundas kicks his first, and the Tigers at the moment have the answer. 6 straight at 3-1.
I thought Hannah was just a little bit stiff then. You take a half a step. Most people can't stop when they get the footy. I mean, you'd always take a half a step. I thought he was a bit hardly done by. Whether his intention was there or not, I mean, it's got to be clear, and I didn't think it was all that clear, really. Not trying to make an excuse for you, Ian, either.
I'm going all right at the moment, Malcolm. It's only 6 goals to 3-1. I think the game's a long way from over. And it's been pretty entertaining. I've enjoyed this so far. 6 goals straight the Tigers, 3-1 the Blues. Naish is the leading goal scorer on the ground at this stage with 2. Ratton dispossessed by Campbell, doing well around the centre of the ground for the Tigers. And a good mark taken by Gale. Gets it to Maxfield. Maxfield's short pass is a beauty.
That's a great pass.
Not much chance there for Sexton, and Richardson is marked 20 metres out.
I mean, that is fantastic play considering what he did before. I mean, it was a pinpoint pass. When he blazed long to a pocket before, a leading player just looks so much better. And have a look where he's got the ball. What I call the most favourable spot in footy, about 30 metres, 35 metres out, right in front.
Well, surely Richardson can kick his second goal.
He's been doing a lot of work at training actually on his goal kicking, so he'd be fairly confident, especially after kicking that first one.
Richardson for Richmond's 7th goal. It's a beautiful kick straight through the centre. Richardson has now kicked 2. Naish has kicked 2. Tigers 7 straight. Blues 3-1.
Hooters again, Deer with the tap out in the back. Ratton's dispossessed. Campbell's doing all the hard work in tight. Gale with very quick hands here. And Maxfield had a look. It was just a great skill. Simple game footy when it's played like that, isn't it?
Well, they certainly made it look good. 3-1 plays 7 straight. Wonderful kicking for goal, but you couldn't get any better conditions than this. The temperature, though, still in the low 30s as Bradley gets it across to Pearce, kicks it high up towards half forward. The Blues would love to finish with a couple of quick goals. They may have trouble, though, because Chris Bond is there on the outer side, just paddling the ball clear. A couple of the young Tigers have had excellent quarters. Campbell's been busy.
Had 9 possessions, Wayne Campbell.
It's been an excellent turn. This is Mil Hannah. Koutafidis at the back. Takes the mark.
Good push.
A bit of a nudge. But away he goes off to Hogg. Down towards Thorpe, but full forward, and also the captain, James Cook. An interesting worm burner. Out in front of goal. John Howard tries to tie it up, puts his body over the top. James Cook comes in a little too late, and there'll be a bounce. Directly in front, under 3.5 minutes remaining. Carlton need a couple.
What would the odds be in the first game of a season for someone to kick 7 goals straight? How many times do you reckon that's been done in the Ansett Cup?
This is the second game, and it was done last night, wasn't it, by St Kilda?
Yeah, they kicked 8 goals in the first quarter against the Dockers.
8-2.
A bit of fumbling there by the Tigers, and that's to be expected.
Normally unlikely, though.
Go, Tony.
Normally unlikely, though, I think. I think normally the skills are a little bit down, but when the boys are so professional now, and you do so much work with the ball pre-season that, you know, goal kicking and things like that are becoming very common.
Well, the fans have certainly flocked here to Waverley. There's a fair crowd this evening. And we'll have another boundary throw in, Sandy.
So, Robbo, we'll get back to Malcolm with those odds, won't we?
Oh, come on, it's early days.
So the boundary throw-in is just inside the 50-metre area for the Blues. Deer to the back. Howard gets the hand pass away. Oh, some strong stuff there by Manton. Equally as strong in the contest was Elliott. The kick goes towards full forward, and a good mark is taken there by Turner.
One of the things Cook's got to learn, doesn't it? I mean, those quick kicks, there's only one place you can be, is you move forward as the ball's in the air from the bounce, and just better read by the other guy. Turner
gets the hand pass away. Elliott, who promised so much, but unfortunately he suffered from injury when first crossing from Fitzroy. This is Knights. Now to Kellaway. Kellaway from pretty well a standing start in towards half forward. Good mark, Naish. His first name is Chris, but it was a good mark. The kick by Naish to the right forward pocket. Out comes Richardson. Perhaps didn't quite judge that as well as he could have. Sexton knocks it clear. There to help out was Whitehead. Was that out on the full? The boundary umpire indicating that we'll have a throw-in about 60 metres around as Pearce and Bond say hello. Madden gets his left hand to it and then gathers. Can't break clear. Ball spills over for another throw-in with just under 2 minutes left in the first term. And the Tigers have got their young supporters, plenty of them here this evening. Putting his shirt sleeves.
Yes, as you mentioned, though, Robbo, an excellent crowd, and great to see footy fans getting right into the Ansett Australia Cup and football so early on in the season. Promises to be a great year. The Tigers, of course, would really love to go one better in the pre-season comp, Tony.
Certainly would.
You might be around. Should they make the final? Would you be back about then?
I'll be putting my hand up about then.
Thought you might. You're on the throwing.
You're on the selection committee, Tony, just as a matter of interest?
We tend to sit down in meetings prior to the selection committee, so we have some input, and then it's up to John to take that forward. I don't know whether he does or not, but he tells us he does.
I'm sure he would.
I'm sure he would too.
There's Brad Pearce as Madden up against Richardson on this occasion. Back towards full forward once again. Can the Tigers get another one before quarter time? Could be a chase of soccering off the ground, but getting to it first and doing exactly that was Ange Christou, conceding one behind.
Well, games can be won and lost in this situation. You know, a minute to go or something like that. Richmond are 4 goals up. Just got to play it a bit tighter and a bit harder at the minute. Keep Carlton away from a score, and you can win a game like that.
Sexton was earmarked. Look at Naish. Hand pass perhaps just a little too low for Richardson. Bond's going to get Carlton out of trouble. He goes back towards the centre once again. Knights comes over the top and has given away the free kick. Pearce is going to take it. With plenty to say in the past couple of minutes. Goes up towards Spalding. Could have been held.
Just technically, Spalding just goes with bent arms all the time, marking his straight arms and giving a bit as it gets there. He does drop a lot of marks, Spalding.
If that's the case that he's played so much football, how come someone hasn't already told him that?
It's a different game under pressure. Yeah?
Ratton up towards full forward, and this time a safe mark taken by James Cook. Just on the 50, this could be their last opportunity for the quarter to close the gap.
And this could be just one of those annoying goals as coach, as John Northey's sitting there saying, gee, I mean, in a few seconds, and he'd know the quarter's getting very, very close. Just one of those frustrations that often happens.
24 points the margin at the moment. And he's going for his second.
On the other hand, of course, David Parker will be very pleased with it. Robbo's pretty smiley too.
Here's Cook. Kicking from 52 metres. Gets onto the drop punt. Good kick. Certainly was.
That is a thumping kick. Isn't he a beautiful kick? Beautiful long kick.
He kicked a goal last year in a night game at the MCG, which must have gone 65 metres.
I'll tell you something that he does with his kicking, a lot of blokes don't. I reckon he runs in a lot quicker than most, and I think that's the right way to do it on a slight angle. Most players run in too slow, and I think only Ablett and probably Lockett are the best two kicks I've seen slow. Everybody else needs to do what they do most of the time at training, which is actually run in a bit quicker, get the leg through the ball.
7-1 plays 4-1. The Blues delighted with that one in the closing seconds of the first quarter. There won't be time for any more as Koutafidis gives it away to Gleeson off to Hannah. Well, maybe. No, there won't. Camporelli kicks down towards full forward. But up go the arms of the umpire. It's quarter time here at Waverley. The Tigers a 7-goal blast. They're 7-1-43, leading Carlton 4-1-25.
The Tigers are back and on the attack, and the Richmond Football Club need every one of its supporters to be part of the tough attack. Ring now for your 95 season membership. Show your pride. Show the world you're Tiger tough.
This standard 2. The Tigers 7-1-43, Carlton 4-1-25. As we have a look at the history of these two sides in pre-season competition, as I mentioned, the Blues have just the one pre-season premiership. They've been runners-up 3 times, and the Tigers have been runners-up twice. Once, of course, was last year against Essendon. But I tell you what, Dipper, they look pretty good in that first quarter tonight.
They certainly do, Sandy. Talking about premierships, well, Hawthorn did win 4 or 5 there. The last 10 years. Yeah, look, the numbers to the ball. I mean, the engine room is very important to every football club, and Richmond tonight with Dundas, Knights, Maxfield, Campbell playing a big part and giving Richardson every opportunity to kick goals. In that quarter, halfway through that quarter, the wind did pick up, and there's about a 1-2 goal breeze. And so for all Carlton supporters, don't despair, because Carlton will be kicking with that breeze. And also the crowd has picked up. I'll give an estimate of 22,115 people.
All right, Dipper, I reckon you might be about 8,000 out there. But while you're there, if the breeze has picked up, has it cooled down a bit?
Well, it has cooled down a bit. I'd say at the start of the game would have been in the high 30s, and at the moment it's about 22, 23 degrees. Perfect conditions for footy.
Thanks, Dipper. Yeah, it is absolutely perfect conditions for footy, and a very good standard. Malcolm, first up.
It was actually a very hot quarter, wasn't it? I mean, the skills were pretty good generally, as we just look at the stats now, and I wouldn't have thought there would have been much in it. There's nothing really stands out. The tackles of the Richmond side are probably 11-4. Sometimes they can be misleading. You can be second to the ball, but they have hunted a little bit impacts, which I think on this type of ground's okay sometimes, but you've got to be careful not to get too many in over the ball. As I mentioned during the call, that loose players can sometimes hurt you, and Craig Bradley's done that a couple of times to them by just filtering out the back a bit. And Tony, you would have noticed that watching the way Craig Bradley's been playing.
Yeah, I've actually played on him a couple of times myself, and he does tend to probably play a little bit smart sometimes, let a Carlton guy really attack the ball and just wait 20-30 metres in the forward line, and he does that very well.
So the second quarter about to start here at Waverley, where Richmond lead by 18 points. The leading goal kickers for the Tigers, Naish and Richardson, have kicked 2 each, and for Carlton, Cook has kicked 2. The ball with Chris Bond, tackled by Madden. Down goes Bond. Not much chance of getting away from Justin Madden there.
It still shows a keenness for the game, doesn't it? I mean, he's still prepared to do that sort of stuff. I think that's fantastic.
That must be a good fillip for the coaches, to see the boys as enthusiastic and as keen as they are early in the season.
Oh, certainly.
Kicked forward for the Tigers into a vacant wing area. Knocked away by Gale. Dean is there. The ball spills out towards Maxfield. Bond is there to help that player. His gather is very good. Left foot kick high in the air. Mark taken by Koutafidis. Getting a bit of the football, Koutafidis, around the middle of the ground. He had 4 kicks and 4 handballs in the first term. That's his 5th kick towards centre-half forward. Deere couldn't take the mark. Away goes Tate. Tate from right half back. Kicks into the centre of the ground. The player unmarked is Rogers. Rogers a handball on. Tigers about to build now. Daffy gets it to Campbell. Campbell over the top. Opportunity for Murphy. Murphy's snapshot for goal is 1 out of 10. Out of bounds on the full.
Just showed his inexperience a little bit there, and probably players should have been talking to him a little bit around the ball there. He just rushed his kick, didn't he? He could have settled down and straightened up.
Robbo, I think as we get older, the memory tends to go. Richmond, what was the year before last? They played in the final. Just old age, just don't worry about me. Whitehead in trouble. Gets the hand pass out the back door. Bradley forced on the left foot. Tumbles a punt up towards centre wing. Manton forced to defend, and then eventually took the grab at the second attempt. Goes to ground, and the umpire will have a bounce on centre wing.
Yes, I think he's appealing for the mark there. I would have paid that, actually.
Yeah. As young Tigers look on from the interchange bench.
Jason Tawney and Stuart Edwards.
Yep. Their opportunity will come as Bond comes away from Jamie Tate. Kicks towards the 50-metre line, and the strong mark taken. Peter Dean working from behind, and Brendan Gale is going to get himself up. Kick down towards Richardson at full forward. Heads directly in that area. No mark taken. The Blues have the numbers. Bond will come away, and come away easily. Going wide to the open spaces on the outer side. Manton has got to beat a couple now. Coming into the Blues Guernsey by courtesy of the draft. Here's Ratton. Up towards half forward. A couple of quick ones for the Blues. It certainly helped their cause. Brad Pearce has possession just outside 50. Pearce will try and get round the man on the mark, but he can't do so. He can, however, get it to Bradley. Bradley gets it across to Thorpe. Standing start from the 50. Thorpe goes in towards full forward. Was it touched?
Not sure.
Just what they wanted. His second.
Interesting, young Pearce then. Which way will I go? Craig Bradley again. Just had the poise then to set this up. He realised the kid was in trouble. Just that great sidestep, wasn't it? Set it through, and then Thorpe again on that dangerous left foot. As we've seen him do in a few games, on the odd occasions, kick goals and special goals.
Yeah, you nominated him earlier in that first quarter, Malcolm, as a goal-kicking forward, Alan Thorpe. And he's certainly living up to that. He's kicked 2 goals. Cook has kicked 2. And the Blues trail by 12 points. The bounce back in the centre. Ratton gets it to big Justin Madden. Madden's kicked towards full forward. Out comes Thorpe. Spalding is there. Leaves it for Bradley. Bradley from 50 metres. Very coolly, short to Cook. Oh, he's caught by Howard. Great tackle. The ball spills for Camporelli. The kick by Camporelli to the goal front. Jamie Elliott is there. Manton for Carlton. Manton has the ball. He's been held by Elliott, didn't have it. So Manton will take the free kick in the left forward pocket for the Blues. Looking to play on, but I'm sure the umpire will ask him to go back and direct his kick over the man on the mark, which is Jamie Elliott.
It's a great shot, isn't it?
And a terrific shot to give the viewer the idea of what is confronting Glenn Manton.
Will he run out here?
No.
Okay.
The 50-50 chance of being right.
Yes.
But he didn't mess that up completely. And does it ever work when a player runs around like that? Which would you prefer to see the guy do?
I think the more agile the bloke you run out. Blokes like Billy Brownless and that always tried to get him to kick at the goal. So they weren't quite as nimble as some of the smaller players to run out.
So no score on the board. And Richmond looking to build on this lead. This is a good mark. Koutafidis to send Carlton back towards full forward once again. Intercepted, however, and pushed towards the boundary line. Manton's going to have to work hard once again. No, he's lost it to Campbell. Campbell had an excellent first quarter. He's going to get them out of trouble. Richmond come away back towards centre wing. Came off the head of Peter Dean, that kick from Nick Daffy, down towards Hogg. He keeps it in play with a sweeping hand pass, but it goes straight to Rogers. Under pressure, his hand pass goes over the line.
Yes, the finish of football. There's 2 great leads that Cook's made, and the ball's just fallen short of him. I mean, it's just that there's only metres in it, isn't there?
Madden and Deere lock horns once again. Neither has great success. Milhana takes the Brett Ratton hand pass. Kicks up towards half forward. Carlton wanting a couple very smartly. They're going to get into this game. Excellent hand pass finds Knights. Now Knights runs through the middle. Has a bounce, has a look up forward. Kicks directly up towards half forward. Gale was there but couldn't take the mark. Hannah's forced to defend and he does it pretty well. Going over the top to Troy Bond. Bond is away on the outer side and here's the racehorse. Bradley, one bounce. Up over the centre he goes. Towards half forward, but again they break down as it's fisted back towards the middle. Congestion there. Trying to go through was Duncan Kellaway. And it's going to come back. Richmond looking to go straight down the ground. It will come back to the middle. Kellaway will take it. 22-year-old and a very exciting young player. So too is Tate. Plenty of them out at Richmond at the moment, and they'll be looking for a very exciting year as Daffy again goes up towards full forward. No mark taken. Working hard at the back was Troy Bond. He needs help from Hannah and he gets it, and also Hogg, and Hogg is away. Coming from full back, he goes wide out towards the wing, and Bradley comes over the top. Under no pressure, he's quickly away. Up towards half forward, but again, Howe just nips across in front. Could have taken the mark, but perhaps instead of going for the fist, he does find the boundary line, and there'll be a throw-in on the outer side.
Yes, now there'll be a slight argument. How did Bradley get free that far? And after that piece of play, it was a great mark too, wasn't he? Really got his body in behind it. Very dangerous player, Craig Bradley, for letting him run free like that.
Prescott is on the ground for the Tigers as Deere and Spalding jostle, taken by Bradley away to Camporelli. The kick by Camporelli into the pocket, punched away from Cook by Turner, and clear of the boundary line for a throw-in.
Interesting to have a look at the tackles so far in this game. Richmond 15, Carlton 5.
12 points is the margin in favour of the Tigers. They kicked 7-1 to 4-1 in the first term. Thorpe back to Bradley. Not much space, but Bradley manufactures something, and he scores a behind for the Blues.
Just on that lack of pressure on Bradley, it's a very difficult player to play on, I think, because he can tend to leave your lane and just go. So you've almost got to assign someone the task of tagging him, I think.
Yes, the problem is his skills are so good, he can really catch up if you really go too much.
Turner brings it back into play for the Tigers. Deere has been earmarked. Didn't quite hold it long enough. They should have the numbers. Campbell tried to surge it forward, but just lost control. An opportunity now for O'Sullivan, who's on the ground, the Rhino. Let's hope he has an injury-free season. So too Bradley, who's been under an injury cloud. Bond does well to get it out from him and steal it towards Kellaway. He, however, loses it to Ratton. Ratton kicks in towards full forward. He's away to the right. Good strong mark taken by Turner on the last line of defence, and he's off. Away he comes, across the face of goal. Could go over the head of Campbell. Cook was there, and flying high was James Cook, unable to take the mark.
It was a great endeavour, I thought.
Yes, well, that line probably, I'm afraid to tell you, has been used while you've been in the coach's box. But welcome back.
Good punch there by Madden. Broken down. It's Turner for the Tigers. 50 metres from the Carlton goal. He kicks it back towards the wing. Kutafidi's in good position and takes what looks to be a fairly simple mark. Then lets himself down but goes after it again. Taken now by Whitehead. Sidesteps beautifully onto that left foot. Kicks to the goal front. Marking contest, there was no contest. Brilliantly taken by Prescott. He kicks it back towards the centre of the ground. Knights is there. Matthew Knights, usually pretty creative, gets the hand pass away. This is Maxfield. Two left-footers combining. Maxfield's kick to half forward. Straightforward chest mark taken by Sexton. The last line of defence. He's forced to come back the other way. Hand pass to Dean. Dean goes wide towards half-back. The mark taken by Whitehead. Whitehead's got a little bit of space. Forced to kick with the left foot, up towards half forward. Spalding goes in hard. Howard is at the back. Pressure applied by Spalding. No free kick. Bond is there. Runs away from half back for the Tigers. Has a look downfield. Short pass is okay for Rogers, and the Tigers will go into attack.
Onto the left foot he goes, and he finds Maxfield, who thought about playing on as well. McQueen is onto the ground for Richmond. Down at half forward. Maxfield heads in that direction. He almost takes the mark, the big fella, but he plays on. He gets the hand pass away to Rogers. Rogers wobbles one in towards goal. He's off target and one behind.
It's been up and down the ground a number of times for no score. Young Murphy sitting having a rest, and really just the finish at the moment, it's just not quite as good as it was in the first quarter.
12 points the margin. Christie. Kicks long, almost down to the wing, and a good mark taken by Koutafidis. That's his 7th mark, and he's had 7 kicks. Madden a chance here to use his pace. Well, he did just for a moment, and he loved it. Spalding. Free kick. Forward of centre, has he? And he's going to send the Blues deep into it.
Looked rather cumbersome then, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Would that have been a report last year?
Yes. Quite possible.
Amazing.
But of course,
common sense is now prevailed.
Correct. Turner running out of room. Cook persisting. And persistence has paid off.
Well, once you come back into play, no, I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, once you do come back in, I mean, he had a chance to run straight with the ball, and as he spun, he tried to go back the other way, and the blokes nailed him. I mean, that's fair enough.
Don't you confer with the boundary umpire to realise that the ball's out of bounds? The ball's out of bounds.
Oh.
You give a guy a free shot at goal.
Yeah, but you can get reported when the ball's out of bounds.
James Cook has kicked 2.
In fact, you can get a free kick down the other end of the ground when the ball's out of bounds.
Carlton trail by 2.
It's not slow running. Most blokes at training, 90% of their time is spent running with the ball, kicking flat out, and learning the way to kick. And we get them in front of goals, and they don't do the natural thing, I believe.
So no score as Turner runs away for Richmond. Just over 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Good mark taken by Matthew Rogers. Kicked a goal in the first quarter. 4 marks down.
Umpire's down.
Yes, he's not moving, but Matthew Knights is. The umpire's flat on his back. Richardson is marked on 50. They're calling for a stretcher. Richardson plays on. He's going to get tackled from behind. Not before he gets it to McQueen. 40 metres out. Kicks into the man on the mark. And Carlton are going to get out of this. Still the umpire's down. There are players running absolutely everywhere. Not worrying about it is Troy Bond. Kicks back towards Hannah, who marks in front of Rogers. Did you see that, Robbo, with the umpire?
No, I didn't. Obviously, he's run into a player without just turning and not noticing the player was there. He looks as though he's in a lot of strife, though. Wouldn't it not be a common sense thing now to stop this and try and work out that he should come off the ground and there must be an emergency guy there?
Well, of course he should. I mean, I just can't believe it. I think they've just passed the message on now.
Yes, they have.
It's amazing, isn't it, that this doesn't happen more often with 3 umpires on the ground, with 36 guys running around at full pace, that one of them doesn't get knocked over on a more regular basis.
Yeah, just imagine off having a rest at the moment. Look, I don't think the equation's that in. I think that with 1 umpire they used to get bowled over. With 2 umpires they used to get bowled over. I mean, it is a game where it's going to happen. It is a contact game, and unfortunately, it's the Jordan Frame too, isn't it? They're putting on him.
It's Chris Bradshaw, the Richmond doctor, out there at the moment. I'll tell you what, this does not look at all good. They still appear to be unconscious.
All you can say is, you know, he certainly is in the best hands these days, and you know, all trainers of all football clubs go through enormous drills. They're as well drilled as a lot of the players in a lot of areas, Tony, aren't they? And exactly what should happen in this circumstance.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the doctors are straight out there, and the trainers, and they go through all their courses, and I mean, the ones down at the club are fantastic. You know, you've got any problem and they get straight into it and they know exactly what to do. So it is fortunate we're in that situation.
Well, I'm sure that Dipper will bring us up to date with any news as soon as he's taken from the ground and his condition assessed. And I might add just who it is as Glenn Manton takes a call. Because we certainly can't pick up from our vantage point here just who that umpire is. Although we do understand it could be Darren McCauley. We will confirm that. All precaution being taken as they remove him from the ground, and let's hope that he's going to be okay. So we have an emergency umpire coming onto the ground. That will be Mark McKenzie. And Darren McCauley stretcher from Waverley Park. So the situation here is that Richmond still lead, but Carlton has cut that lead. It is now just 12 points.
I really hope Richmond use the break to their advantage. I think Carlton are just starting to gain a bit of momentum and a bit of ascendancy, so I hope the leadership boys are out there, you know, getting everyone organised.
It's interesting that they placed a neck brace on by Darren McCauley prior to lifting the stretcher. Well, we'll just keep our fingers crossed. Straight down to the race. Milhana was the player with the ball on the half-back flank. And I've seen Dipper down there. He's very close to the race. I'm sure he'll have a report for us soon. But in the meantime, play goes on. And Hannah from the half-back kicks towards the centre wing. Spalding trying to get clear with a short kick. Unsuccessful. Campbell again, around his body, swings it up towards the half-forward line, and the Tigers hoping to steady with a kick up towards full forward. Rogers and Knights. Richardson. Well, you said, Tony, if they could just stop the Carlton run with this break and maybe score themselves, could be just what they need, this goal.
I just got the feeling before that play that there was a lot of Carlton players with space, and they just seem to be running down all the time. But yeah, this will be great for Richmond. They really needed it, I think. That's if he kicks it.
Don't put the moz on him. He's kicked 2, both in the first quarter.
Does that mean that your heart's in your mouth when you're on the ground with Matthew Richardson shooting for goal?
He's had plenty of training.
He has too. I'm a lot more confident when he's kicked the first 2.
Well, he has kicked the first 2, and he's split them there. 3 to Richardson.
She's got
Dipper. Dipper, any news?
Yes, unfortunately for young Dan, was completely knocked out, but the good news is, as they've taken him off the ground, he was smiling on that stretcher, if you can smile on the stretcher. And the news is as well, that Cook will be coming off for Carlton for Gleeson to come on, maybe a bit quicker around that 4 line.
Dundas to Howe. Thank you, Dipper. We'll keep a close ear on proceedings there. Campbell and Bradley. A couple of skilled players. Bradley pushing the ball along in front. Going to get the free kick, is he? Yes. There's Craig Bradley. 6 kicks, 4 hand passes. His usual busy self. Number of high flyers, but no mark taken as Kellaway tries to storm through. His hand pass was intercepted, locked up on the ground. Thorpe does get out, gives it across to Manton. The 2 draft picks combining there, but going nowhere fast. Back it goes towards Kellaway once again. He may give it to Johnny Howard. They combine. Howard steadies with the left foot. He kicks up over the centre. Naish may get a chance at the back if he can keep it in play. Just he can. Chris Naish had a good start with 2 goals in the first quarter. Has a look up towards the half-forward line. Matthew Knights close to the boundary line. Clever little flick on towards Maxfield. He could have been held. The umpire said no, you can play on. McQueen there also, body over the ball. Flicks it out the back door. Pressure applied to him by Brett Rutten. Still they go. And Naish caught, well tackled. Ball spilling free once again.
That was overdue.
And finally, the whistle sounded. That wasn't Malcolm just clearing his throat.
It's for right. I mean, if it's not a good piece of play, you don't just pick out a free kick as it looks like one. He kicked the ball with his foot.
Allen kicks towards the half-back line. And Luke O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan with the ball at right half-back for the Blues. Kicks efficiently with that left foot. Big punch there by Tate. Back towards the wing. Howard can't control it, and it goes over for a boundary throw-in. I just thought there were 3 free kicks before that.
Yeah, but you don't play the one that's not there. 4 wrongs don't make a right.
Johnny Northey looking a little anxious, but his side leads. Spalding doing the ruck work. The ball spills now for Richmond's Kellaway. Hooks the kick in towards the centre of the ground. Good mark taken by Daffy. Daffy looks to play on quickly. Handy for the forwards, but the high kick made it a bit difficult.
It was Richardson.
Naish, hand pass. Richardson gathers. Shrugs the tackle from Bond. Left foot snapshot by Richardson is a miracle goal.
Well, Richmond steady again to go to a 4-goal break. 9-2, plays 5-2. Bradley belts it over the back, over the top of Luke O'Sullivan, who's got to give chase. Bond intercepts, shrugs 1, 2 tackles, gets a kick. Wobbling it over the middle once more. Hannah unable to take the mark. Flicked out the back by Dundas, but taken away by Ange Christou. Although the whistle has sounded, it's going to come back. And there'll be a free kick going the way of Troy Bond.
Oh, well, it was a high hit, but just made sure he saw it. That's all. That's fair enough.
Richardson short. Maxfield gives it away. McQueen, centering kick. Well done. Well done. Naish has 2 to his credit, both coming in the first quarter.
I think it's always been a rap for this young fella. You know, Maxwell really ran out of legs there. He's done a bit of work in the last few minutes and just got a bit tight on it. But I think the expectations on people like Naish as he kicks another goal. Wonderful kick. 3rd goal in a half of football is fantastic. But I mean, he plays in the 4 line as a permanent position player, and you can't expect him to be kicking 6 goals a game. I mean, at the end of the season, if he can average 3, 2.5, 3, he's had a pretty good season.
3 goals to Naish, 4 to Richardson, and suddenly Richmond open up a very handy 5-goal lead. From the middle, Campbell, who gets it out. Look at them. Rogers combining again with Maxfield. You said he was tired, Malcolm. He's sprinting away towards full forward. Wasn't the kick he had in mind, however. And Sexton tidies up for Carlton.
That's a good indication, see, that tiredness, the kick, it just starts to drop off.
Defending on the outer side. Sexton's kick is close to the boundary line. Koutafidis may keep it in. He does just. He's been very busy. 9 kicks and 7 marks for Koutafidis.
His marking's been excellent.
Yeah.
He's a bit taller than what you think. He's one of those lads that puts up his arms and just gets a bit higher than you think.
Taller when he puts up his arms.
Well, he'd be close to 6'3" in the old, I would think.
And very athletic too. He tends to move very well, doesn't he?
Here's O'Sullivan. Kicks towards the half-forward line. Bouncing ball, really good for no one. Earl's falling. It just seemed to drift away from him as Ratton tries to help him out. Whitehead with the left-hand hand pass, gives it away towards Camporelli. He goes up towards goal as Carlton broken through for a much-needed goal. He has. Scott Camporelli.
But Elliott for Richmond, left foot kick wide out towards a vacant wing area. Leading in the race is Camporelli. Good gather, gets around, has a bit of a look. Little left foot kick is effective. He finds Ratton. Ratton delivers the ball reasonably well on normal occasions. He's kicked towards half forward, punched away by Turner. Nearly gathered by O'Sullivan. He goes after it. 2nd try. Scramble to the ground. Koutafidis gets his right foot to it. Chance for Whitehead. Gathers. Goes through the 50-metre line, but a poor kick. And a good mark taken back there for Richmond by Prescott. David Parkin giving the Stimmerol a bit of a workout as Prescott in the left back pocket for the Tigers. Kicks outside 50 metres. Tate, but a good mark taken in front by Manton. Manton is 55 to 60 metres out, goes short, finds Bradley. Angle a little more difficult, but Bradley a little closer to goal than Manton. Well, if anyone can kick a football, Craig Bradley does it very, very nicely.
He's going to kick from 52 metres, which I've seen him many times. It's really a goal line one, isn't it? He's right on the goal line, Norman.
Looking to see if he can give it off, but he's going long. It's a lovely kick for distance. Offline to the right and through for 1 behind. 1-3 to Craig Bradley in that Carlton scoreline of 6-3. Richmond 10-2, so the difference 23 points. Edwards preparing to come on for the Tigers, and big Justin Madden for the Blues.
Under 3 minutes remaining in the first half.
You don't pick it off. You don't pick it off.
You don't. Yes, you'll lose it, as we saw last night as Turner brings it back into play and he finds his mark in Deere. Deere plays on around his body up towards Wayne Campbell. Had an excellent game across to Howard, and Johnny Howard goes up towards half forward. The mark taken by Dundas. Wants to go on with the job quickly. Kicks in towards Daffy. And a well-positioned kick and a nice mark. And Nick Daffy's going to have a shot 47 metres out.
As a coach and as a supporter, I'm sure you'll love it when the ball goes from one end of the ground and the opposition don't touch it. The next trick, of course, is to kick it.
That's right. Very important kick, this one too. With only a few minutes to go, it's that red time issue again, where a goal to Richmond makes it a bit of a comfortable lead, yet a goal to Carlton, you know, tightens it up a bit.
Just going across the face. Just too slow kicking the footy for goal. I just reckon you get more balance by running a bit quicker and feels more natural.
Here having a spell, 6-3, 10-3 as we said. Edwards coming on.
Because the fullback's only allowed one chance now, isn't he?
Yes.
With the kick-off. You warn once and then you've got to unload it.
Good idea, Malcolm?
I think so, yeah. It just did slow down a bit.
Hannah, fine mark.
But let the fullback run off. I mean, I think that was the trade-off.
Yeah. Mill Hannah will be looking for a big year with the Blues. He kicks up towards Spalding and Bradley. Look at the zip of Craig Bradley. But he kicked that somewhat blindly as he turned, and they're going to give it away. Tigers repel it wonderfully well. Kellaway kicks short. Not quite short enough, however, for Nick Daffy. He's got to beat a couple here. Whitehead is his main opposition at the moment. Now Rogers comes in to assist. He'll spin away from Madden, and he does so. Round the body he comes, up towards the left half-forward flank. Pressure now on Bond as he repels the attack. Richmond looking for another one with just 1.5 minutes remaining in this first half at Waverley. Hannah ties it up on the outer side. Carlton have possession. Madden has the football. Caught! Flicks it out, however. Kellaway again, runs into Hogg. Then O'Sullivan, legged him. And Luke O'Sullivan is going to get a free kick.
Something similar to a couple of years ago when he did his knee out here, Luke O'Sullivan. Tripping on the loose Waverley turf.
Got bogged, didn't he?
Ground was a bit better tonight, eh?
Yep, my word.
Campbell again.
Back towards the centre for the Richmond side. Out comes Christou. Tried to tap it clear. Second chance at it, though. Well done by Ange Christou. Gathers on his favoured left side. He kicks it up towards the 50-metre line. Marking contest. The ball spills for Manton, but Tape does well. In goes Spalding, but Manton gets a second chance. The little kick. He spotted the Carlton player at the front of the goals. It's Allen. And a good kick by Manton. Allen has marked 25 metres out directly in front.
Just a couple of things that Manton's done in the last 10 minutes. It just shows he just might be starting to find his feet in the new jumper. Just perseverance, really, wasn't it then?
Well, I thought that he showed a bit at Essendon. Obviously doesn't fit into their plans, but it's great that the guy can get another chance and show his wares. This is Allen for Carlton's 7th goal. And the half-time siren sounds. So much to the chagrin of Tony Free, the Blues do get the last goal of the first half and go in with a deficit of some 3 goals in oppressive conditions here at Waverley, as the players will have a 10 or 12-minute break. Naish, 3 goals for Richmond. Richardson has kicked 4. And at half-time, Richmond lead by 18 points. They're 10-3, Carlton 7-3.
In a most entertaining game and a much tighter second quarter, both sides booting 3 goals to Richmond 10-3-63, leading Carlton 7-3-45. Well, the good news as far as footy news and gossip is concerned is the Sunday Herald Sun's very own Scott Palmer is with us once again, and I'm delighted to welcome you back to our coverage for season 1995, Scotty. Firstly, we're looking at Richmond, and good news as far as contract signing this week. 3 of their big names signed for long term.
Yes, Matthew Richardson, Matthew Knights and Chris Bond all signed 3-year contracts this week, and they'll stay with the Tigers for a long time. They've signed now all their young players. They don't want any of them poached in the future, Sandy.
Now, as you saw there, they're resting after this heat in the first half here at the moment. The heat is certainly the talking point. What does Dennis Pagan think about it?
It's the annual meltdown, Sandy. Now, Dennis Pagan has asked the AFL today if he can postpone the match tomorrow from 1:15 to 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. He's worried about the heat. He carried out tests on his players today in the reserves match. He weighed them before the match, he weighed them after the match, and they'd lost a substantial amount of weight. And another of his players was very distressed and had to have medical attention. He doesn't want the 6 interchange players. He said he'd much prefer to play it later in the day away from the hot conditions.
So do you know what's going to happen there? Is there going to be some sort of meeting or discussion on this in the morning?
Yes, Ian Collins will meet with both clubs tomorrow morning. He said today that if the weather is still hot, he'll probably agree to the 6 interchange players. He doesn't know about the other thing. I think North Melbourne are going to spring a surprise on him on that.
Right, let's talk about some other clubs. We'll head down the highway to the Cattery. Billy Brownless, injury woes?
Yes, he pulled a hamstring today in the Geelong's 12-8 to 8-11 win over the Hawks. It looks like missing now the first Ansett Cup match against the Crows. And when you think that they've got Stoneham hocking on the sidelines, it's going to be a blow for the Cats.
Now, what's this about Richmond and Carlton today having a bit of fun out in a paddock?
They played at Gosh's paddock today, and it was a paddock, yes. They had to fill in some rugby posts before they went in there, and Greg Williams, the Brownlow medalist, was having treatment on his knee under an elm tree. The clubs weren't very impressed by it. They said that football's being treated as a second-class citizen, and I'm inclined to agree. And out there today, young Chris Sullivan, who's just been picked up for the Tigers, dislocated an elbow, and that was very, very painful for him.
Actually, everyone talks about Carlton, who've had their injury woes, but I tell you what, Melbourne hasn't had a good run.
No, Paul Hopgood's been added to the list. He did a groin against the Crows in Adelaide overnight, and he'll be missing a few games. Todd Viney was very ill as well. He had the heat sickness as well, Sandy, so it's really affecting everybody.
I'm sure that Teddy Whitner is probably watching our telecast tonight. If you are, Teddy, hope you're enjoying it. We've got some good news for him, haven't we, Scotty?
Keep on punching, Teddy, yes. Retrospective Brownlows have come in and retrospective Tassie medals are coming. Ted's going to get his from 1958 at a special day at the AFL on March 10. Good on you, Teddy.
Scotty, I'm glad you're back, and if you like, I can recommend a very good hairdresser to you.
Oh, thanks very much, Teddy. Yours is looking very nice at the moment.
That's enough of that. All right, Scotty Palmer and the Sunday Herald Sun back and bigger and better than ever in season 1995. We'll take a break more shortly from Waverley. Park, if you may have just joined us, the Tigers leading 10-3-63, Carlton 7-3-45. 17 goals kicked in very warm conditions, and by gee, they've been enjoying a rest at the moment.
Yes, they would. It's obviously a trying night. Interestingly enough, Carlton kicked the last 2 goals of that quarter, late in the quarter. I mean, the Richmond side had 5 goals, a 30-point lead with only a few minutes to go. So, I mean, is that the sign of things to come in the second half? I mean, it's just interesting when you get those last 2 goals.
Well, it's that time that our special guest Tony Free's talking about, isn't it? I mean, does there tend to be a lapse when you know there's only perhaps a couple of minutes before the break?
There is. I mean, most sides do have some patterns that form throughout the year, and as we now look into the Richmond rooms, and they're taking a well-earned break, I can assure you.
Well, we'll have a look at some of the highlights in the first half, but it's been an excellent standard, really, by both sides.
Yes, this one's a fantastic piece of play here, which ends up in a Richmond goal. Great tap on, over the top. Campbell just misjudges it, and Bond runs onto the ball. It's just great running play by the Richmond side. Got them a goal early in the game.
Chris Bond, who was in the thick of things. This is Cook.
This is that fantastic smother from Hogg. As the ball frills free, he goes again, and it ends up out wide with Thorpe, this dangerous left foot of his, but really turned the ball over from a great smother. Fantastic goal. As we look here, huge pack, Naish, ever dangerous, ever clever. Richardson turns around, throws it onto his left foot, tremendously off balance. I mean, but they're special goals, and he was in good form.
He's a confidence player. He's got 4 to half-time. He and Naish the main spearheads.
And we're actually going to see Naish now as it ends up with this ball. Comes across, great kick here. Comes back in, McQueen kicks it, and a great kick to Naish. And we know what Naish can do with the football in front of goals. Beautiful style, lovely follow through, and great kick.
Yes, he's got 3, and let's have a look at some of the stats at half-time.
I think the tackles we mentioned earlier in the game, 13 to 18, but Carlton actually came back again in that second quarter, and the free kick, 16 to 4.
4 to Carlton.
Yeah, I mean, but watching the game, you wouldn't actually see that. Although I think, like most people, the umpires, they've still got to get it right for the start of the season. I think there's been a few debatable ones, that's for certain.
But still very much in the balance. Centre breaks, even, Stephen.
Yes, you know, centre breaks are important. I mean, it depends on where you actually take them from. I mean, what you do with them from there. Quick kicks out are good sometimes, but it really is the effectiveness through the middle.
What do you think at this stage? What's your gut feeling?
I think Richmond have deserved their 3 goals, but just Carlton kicked those last 2 goals, so I still think it's going to be set up for a great second half.
OK, we'll take a break and be back with the second half shortly.
The Tigers are back and on the attack, and the Richmond Football Club need every one of its supporters to be part of the tough attack. Ring now for your 95 season membership. Show your pride. Show the world you're Tiger tough.
On this very warm night in Melbourne, it's half-time, if you may have just tuned in, and Richmond lead by 18 points. Dipper is down in the Richmond rooms. What news do you have, Dipper?
Well, John Norther was very happy about that first half of football. He's just asked his players to be more disciplined at the ball because he knows there's another half of football going on. But the boys down here are very calm and collected. Even though they're a young side, they've got some strong shoulders on their heads there. And the thing is as well, for Carlton, they're very disappointed around the centre-half forward area. Earl Sporting hasn't had a touch all night. They're worried about Cook at the moment at full forward, and they're trying to put Matty Allen up there and also try and adjust to Madden. But for me, Richmond's still playing that good positional football out of the middle.
Dipper, I know you're trying to get boot in mouth, but you can't have strong shoulders on the head. Well, on a serious note, any news on umpire Darren McCauley?
Yes, he's been taken to the Dandenong Valley Hospital, I'd say for observation only. And Sandy, I reckon for a good night's sleep too.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope he's okay. Thanks, Dipper.
Thanks, mate.
Dipper in the Richmond rooms. Don't forget too, Sports World every Sunday morning, 9 through 12 Eastern Time. And join us for all the top action, sporting-wise, with Bruce and the team. Sports World, only on 7. And wherever you may be viewing, check your local guides. All happening at Simmons Plains. Tomorrow, the second round of the touring cars, and good luck to Brocky. He celebrates his 50th birthday tomorrow. Will he do it with a win, or will Lightning Larry Perkins, who won the opening round, make it 2 in a row? Tune in to 7 and find out. But again, check your local guides. And happy birthday, Brocky, if you're watching for tomorrow. Happy 50th. Richmond coming back out onto the ground. Well, let's put Tony Free, our special guest, on the spot as Carlton come out too. How did you assess your side's first half?
I thought it was quite good. There's a lot of tenacity there. Probably didn't quite use the ball as well as Carlton at times, but the goals are on the board, and it's better being 3 ahead than 3 behind. So I think John and the boys will be quite happy with that.
As we're looking at the stats, Wayne Campbell actually dropped onto Craig Bradley after he got busy and tightened right up on him. He's been a big kick-getter. Maxfield, pardon me, on the wing has won his share of possessions. Tape's been a fair player. I think Rogers is be on the next screen, but he's been a very, very lively player. Off cross, in fact, I found him now. Thanks again. 8 touches and 5 marks. I think that's really livened up their forward line. Craig Bradley, of course, had that terrific patch in the middle of that second quarter. Koutafidis has been very, very impressive. Just every time he gets the ball, he wants to play onto his right side. I think sometimes he just needs to go back and give himself a bit more space. Hannah's got the football. Camporelli's kicked the ball long. Looks likely type.
How would you assess Bond in his position in defence?
Well, he has got the ball. I think Tony made a mention of the fact that he played on Nation. He just did play him a bit loosely at times, but he's also got the footy himself, and we know he can set it up from there. Manton 7 touches in his first effort.
So just about set to go in the second half here at Waverley. The winner, of course, to meet St Kilda. And it was, of course, Adelaide and Essendon who played in last year's final. The Tigers making it the year before.
He's done pretty well with Turner at full-back, Tony. I mean, if you can get through this game, I know you're looking forward a bit, but it'll be interesting duels.
Yeah, it will be.
Low and Turner.
He progressed very well last year. We didn't really know where to play him, and he found his own spot, really. Put his hand up and played very well back there, and he's continued that form on tonight, and we look forward to a big year from him. Adrian Gleeson and his cohorts head for the bench. And a spell on this very warm night. Simon Beaumont, his time will come. James Cook. So 3 goals in it. Tigers at one stage getting out to, what, over 30 points.
Yes, it was 5 goals just towards the end of that second quarter.
10-3 plays 7-3 as we go into the third term. Madden and Deere. Madden stands his ground. Carlton, well, if they can kick the first one in particular, they're right back in business. Only 3 being the difference at the moment. And Hogg has the chance to do just that. Couldn't go over the top of Turner, however. Got over Allen, but that's wasn't what he wanted. Manton, it ricochets from his leg and goes over the boundary line. So a throw in on the outer side. Carlton in attack. wanting the first goal. Blues without many of their big guns tonight. Allen doing the work from behind with Deer. Bond waiting down in front, tries to sneak away. He's like a slippery eel. Somehow he gets it out, but it goes straight to Bradley. Always dangerous. Madden has called for that's clever. Good foresight, and Big Justin well outside 50.
And you give a pat on the back to the young fella that delivered the ball to him.
Madden unsure what to do. Eventually just, it's a proppy kick in towards the forward line, and Stuart Maxfield takes them up. Away he goes. The left footer up towards centre wing. I think Daffy gave a bit of a nudge then. And you can hear the umpire in the background, who's wide up, saying in the back, in the back. Christou to half forward once again. Allen was there, unable to take the mark. Campbell has been very, very busy. 7 kicks and 10 hand passes for young Campbell. It's a fine effort. Trying to break free now is Turner. Back to Christou. Carlton go forward once again. Bradley gives it back once more. This is looking dangerous. Whitehead is inside 50. A left foot chip may not be far enough. It is not. And the mark is taken by Prescott on the last line of defence.
Gee, it's all very well to go crook when you're the man behind, but I think Thorpe could have made a little bit more of that. The kick towards half back for the Richmond side. It's gathered by Whitehead. Hand pass, Koutafidis combines with Bradley. Bradley around onto the right foot, kicks high in towards centre half forward. A contest there, and a good mark is taken by Spalding. About 35 to 40 metres out, pretty well straight in front.
So my eyes don't deceive me. I think Justin Madden might have upset Howard then. Oh, no, it was just a very good mark in the end, wasn't it? I mean, it probably was a little bit of body on him and just took him off the ball enough to... Spalding is the key to them now, isn't he? If they're going to lift someone across that half-forward line, they really have to do something.
Well, Spalding
3 steps.
Concentrating very hard, and it does pretty well. He kicks the goal for the Blues.
1.5 million viewers have made Blue Heelers
12 points. Madden tries to get it down to Hock, but it breaks down. It's Bond getting a quick kick to it. Nearly gathered by Whitehead. Daffy, Dean, Bond. Breaks down. Whitehead can't break clear. A struggle for possession by 3 or 4 players in that passage of play. Unsuccessful, so the umpire will call for a bounce. 2 goals the margin in favour of Richmond. 10-3 to 8-3. Umpires at this stage, Craig Durham, Mark Westgarth and Mark McKenzie, of course. Unfortunately, Darren McCauley carried off in that second term. Madden and Greg Deer, taken by Turner, couldn't break clear. Dundas looks for a free kick there, but not forthcoming. The umpire will have to bounce once again.
They've been long quarters, and I think this is one of the reasons why. There's been a lot of this pressure, then breakaway, and a lot of boundary line throw-ins as well.
Madden again, jostled. Well, that's a very interesting piece of work by Justin Madden. And he likes doing that sort of thing. Pearce working hard. Bond taken high. No question. McQueen, however, goes on with it to Campbell. Around the body and inside 50 to Gale. 1, 2, not paid. Well, we won't have him at second slip. Peter Dean loses it. Battle of the Ironman there, and McQueen wanted it, stole it from him. Christou takes it high. Back towards centre wing, and Madden will come over the top of Deer. Howard is there also. Spalding gives it away. Christou goes up towards the half-forward line. Carlton in attack. They'd love the next one. Prescott's hand pass. Loose. O'Sullivan gives it away to Bradley. Craig Bradley tumbles it down towards Allen. Inside 50. Bad bounce for Turner. Which way will it go now? Chance to tidy up for Jamie Tate, but he gives it back to Turner. They're not out of it yet, though. The bouncing ball just about eludes them all. It could turn in Carlton's favour. Socket off the ground. Down towards Thorpe. On a tight angle. Thorpe. Can he cover himself in glory? No.
Yes, Matthew Allen in the goal square screaming for it then, and I think he had a bit of a right to have a bit of a word to his teammate. Interesting, Benny Gale, centre forward, going for another chest mark, dropped it. Really wish he'd put his arms out more often. Grab the ball in front of his face.
Kellaway to the outer side. Very critical time for both sides. O'Sullivan had it, but only for a moment. Campbell, one of the best players on the ground, but he's lost it here to the Rhino, Luke O'Sullivan. He peppers away in towards full forward. Thorpe there once again.
Had it and lost it. Tries to retrieve it once again. Turner, body over ball, loses it. Hogg out to O'Sullivan. A snap by Luke O'Sullivan in towards full forward, and Allen takes the diving mark. Kicked a goal in the second quarter. That is what lies ahead for Matthew Allen. He runs around, wastes no time this time, Malcolm, and he's kicked a goal. He's kicked it very effectively.
Madden up high, couldn't quite effectively clear the pack. Matthew Knights tries a hand pass over the top. Elliott chopped off by Bradley. Can he get past? Yes, he does get the hand pass. Ratton can't break clear. Matthew Knights harassing successfully. Ball spills now for Whitehead, taken by Dundas. Free kick, and it's going to the Tigers. And that was an illegal passing on of the football, so it will go to Bond. Bond for the Tigers. Kicks towards left half forward. It breaks down because Dean showed tremendous endeavour to get in front there and take that mark. Kicks wide towards the wing. The mark taken by O'Sullivan. He plays on. Kicks blindly, high in the air. Not really all that good for Spalding. Punched away by the Tiger defence. Daffy. In comes Camporelli. Whitehead. Well done by Knights. Anticipating. Breaks the tackle. Runs on and has a good look forward. And then kicks towards full forward. Beats both Richardson and Hannah. Richardson recovers quickly, hooks the kick a long way, right off to the left, and it's missed everything. It's out of bounds on the full. Matthew Richardson has kicked 4 for Richmond. Nash has kicked 3. And the goal scorers, leading goal scorers for the Blues, Cook has 2 and Thorpe has 2. Hogg with the football in the right back pocket for the Blues. McQueen, the man on the mark. He's kicked towards half-back. Mark is taken by Turner.
Just at the moment, Hannah's playing on Richardson, which is really a mismatch in size. I just can't find Sexton. He might be off the ground.
Under 13 minutes, Malcolm remaining in this third quarter. Hogg it was, who was written into the ground in the middle. And you're right, Sexton is off the ground. There's some treatment. Here's Koutafidis. Carlton closing the gap, and Thorpe takes the mark inside 50.
It's one of the rare times he's been in front tonight, isn't it? He actually looked very good at it. Just to make himself available with those leads. We know he can kick the football. I mean, this is great body work. He's jumped early, grabbed the ball high, arms out straight. I mean, he did everything perfect.
Going to be kicking from just on 50. Going to be very close. He's kicked a goal. Welcome to Carlton.
Yes, he can kick a goal. We all know that. Just looking back up the ground, and they're right back in the game, aren't they? As I mentioned at half-time, Sandy, those last 2 goals they got, great setup. Koutafidis again. I mean, he really did give him every chance. And I reckon if you give your teammate 51% of the chance, and you got this smooth left footy, he's really given that everything. It's just had enough, hasn't it? Just a good shepherding on the line by Manton there too.
Scores level, and Robbo's wondering about those odds for the Tigers, 7-4 odd. Nothing in this game. Out of the middle, Koutafidis kicks towards half-forward. Spalding takes the mark. Suddenly, Carlton finding plenty. Bradley round his body. Up towards Allen at full forward. Fisted away. Down to Spalding. Can't get clear. Gives it to Thorpe. Don't tell me this is number 4. It is!
Goal scorer on the ground with 4 apiece. Madden gets his left hand to it. Away goes Hogg. Tries to bash it forward for the Blues. O'Sullivan hard at the football. Can he break clear? Yes, he can. He shrugs the tackle. Goes goalwards. Luke O'Sullivan. Magnificent football by the Rhino.
He was doing some damaging work in the middle, Tony. I mean, actually just the last 4. So might have gone Carlton's way.
I think so. They probably kicked the last maybe 6 or 7 goals. I don't know, probably 6. But
it was 10 goals to 5 in the second quarter.
Sullivan was just great here, wasn't he? I mean, Callaway's had a real go at him too, but he's just so strong, and that burst, great play.
Well, Callaway being one of the best tacklers in the league too. Certainly his numbers are up there, and that was very good, strong play.
So the Blues now lead by 12 points after trailing by 30 points in the latter part of the second term. Madden and Deere go at it. The ball spills now for Pearce. Pearce on the left foot, high towards half forward. Contest between Tate. Oh, it was a good one. Outpointing Manton on this occasion, and he will kick it back towards the wing for the Tigers.
Does that now, and there's a good mark taken by Gale. He's got to come into this game.
So much better in the air, doesn't he, with his hands up?
It's only his third kick for the night. Kicks towards half forward. Hannah the effective spoiler. Carlton running hot at the moment. Christou. Big Ange. An interesting hand pass. Put his teammate under plenty of pressure, but Hannah's going to get them out of it. They appear to be full of run at the moment. Richmond, on the other hand, under real pressure as Howe kicks back towards centre wing. They need at least a steadier or two. Miranda up towards half forward, just outside 50. Now he floats a long hand pass that could come unstuck horribly. It does. Hannah pushes it back towards Whitehead. He runs into his own teammate. It was like a car accident. And Richardson signaling, well, that could have been two.
Players a little confused there. The umpire pointed as though it may have been a Richmond kick.
Not me.
I don't think that Matthew Richardson was going to be a Richmond kick.
Sexton Sandy, we've got a report, has stomach pains and he's having treatment down on the boundary line.
Amazingly, Hannah's got 3 or 4 very important touches when Richmond have looked really dangerous in this.
Oh, he was off. He was off. Peter Turner. O'Sullivan has certainly lifted Carlton. Can Maxfield lift Richmond? 60 metres out. He tries to bend it round, but he can't. And it's taken over the line in the left forward pocket. Crowd has certainly come to life.
I just wonder with Manton being at the club now whether, look at him perhaps as a fullback. He's played a bit in defence in Essendon. Although Hannah's playing very well, we know he can set the game up further up the ground.
Madden comes across to do the ruck work. Tigers needing a score. Dundas at the bottom of the pack. Hannah doesn't worry about it. He gives it away to his teammate in Troy Bond. Goes wide to the outer side looking for Pearce. Pearce sprints on the outer side. Campbell gives chase, but he gets away. Up towards the left half-forward flank area, but the kick is wide. Too wide.
Campbell's last done. It was just fantastic, wasn't it? Just put enough pressure on him.
Just kept on going. Deere juggles one. Daffy takes it out of the air. Richmond a half-forward, and Richardson, who can't take it on a half volley. Milhana on his hammer, but he eventually gets clear and he just chip passes to Naish inside 50. He might have a snap here. They need a goal badly. It's just got over the top of Big Justin.
The accurate kicking by both sides. Madden and Deere, that could have been a free kick to Greg Deere. Fairly blatant. The umpire only 3 or 4 metres away from that incident. The Tiger fans pretty happy. And it's Greg Deere to put Richmond into attack up near the 50-metre line. No one there. Turner couldn't take the mark. Bond is there. Free kick. And it's going to Richmond. The player held there was Dundas. Didn't have the football, according to the umpire. Plays on quickly and gives the opportunity to Maxfield. He goes for goal. And, rather lackadaisically in the finish. Kicks are behind for the Tigers.
So look at that, Malcolm. You'd like to be a coach again?
I think that Carlton, David Parker, can be pretty happy with it at the moment. I mean,
sure he will.
It's been certainly a spirited 15 minutes in this third quarter.
And still 8.5 remaining in this third term. Well, he'd better get a wriggle on, otherwise he'll lose it. The new rules. Oh, Deere went up very, very high over Madden. This is Daffy. Clever kick to Maxfield. And he'll have a shot 30 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Just from that set play then, the kick was given to the big fella in Madden. And of course, with all the Carlton players running forward to attack that position, the Richmond players are holding their ground in their zone. Oops, and that's just unfortunately come unstuck, and Maxwell ends up with an easy one.
Rogers, the kick partly smothered, or bad bounce for Brendan Gale, and eventually taken over the line. And having a spell on the bench, and young Jason Tawney, South Adelaide boy.
From South Adelaide. He's been very impressive in the pre-season games too. He's played a lot around the half-back flank and looks very sure on his feet.
Well, let's hope that he gets a decent old go. Campbell, who's probably been one of the best on the ground, tries to bend that one back with the old check side style. No major success. 1 point on the board. 9 kicks, 10 hand passes for Campbell. what has been an excellent display. 12-3, plays 11-5. Just 4 points in it. Again to the outer side, Campbell. Takes yet another mark. And gets another possession. Back towards Rogers. No mark taken. Flicked out the back. Should be a goal to Nash. It is.
He doesn't miss those, does he?
5 goals to Chris Nash. And the Tigers hit back quickly. 12-5, plays 12-3.
Yes, they really needed those 2 goals in a row, and that's exactly what they've got. Richardson nearly just had the wherewithal to keep the ball in front of him, and I think that's always good. Try and keep the ball in front of you, and Nation just racks them up, doesn't he?
Well, 5 goals is a pretty good performance in any game of football. Richmond lead by 2 points. We've got 7 minutes left. Madden tries to get it behind for Bradley. Bradley gets a second go at it. Hooks the kick towards half forward. Nearly the mark taken by Koutafidis. Good play by Elliott to make the contest difficult. Ratton is there. Kicks it wide. Favours Thorpe. Gathers. Leaves it behind in the finish. Plays it in front. Then tries to get the hand pass clear. Spalding leaves it behind. Chance for Pearce. Pearce back onto his favoured left foot. Goes for goal. It's not a bad kick. It's a goal.
A great lesson then. There was one in the game where a Richmond player came out and jumped in the air. In fact, Cook it was for Carlton, jumped in the air. The difference there was Pearce actually kept his momentum going. When he's attacked by the Richmond player, he actually keeps his feet on the ground. He's then got enough strength, hopefully. A lot of times you haven't, but sometimes you have. Watch this. When he ends up with the ball, he actually keeps his feet on the ground and uses his strength rather than jump, and you've got no weight in your body at all. And then he's just capped it off beautifully with a goal.
Well, it certainly was a good kick in the finish by Brad Pearce to register Carlton's 13th goal. Madden getting his hands on the football at the centre bounces. Bradley, Whitehead, creative. Ratton, got to get rid of it quick. Hand passes wide back for Whitehead, who kept running. Hand pass into the path of Pearce. Sits up. Elliott's the chance here to mop up for the Tigers. Ordinary kick by Elliott. Gathered by Bradley. May make Elliott pay. The kick towards half forward. Spalding. O'Sullivan. Quick kick. Allen gathers, falls over. Got time to recover. Hand pass away. Tape is there. Tackled by O'Sullivan. Ball spills. We'll have a boundary throw in. 15, 20 metres around from the Carlton goal.
It just seems that there's some problems maybe occurring with Richmond's backline. They've got Koutafidis playing on Elliott, so there's a height difference there, and also Spalding on Howard. So if those guys, start marking the ball, it's going to be a difficult task for the smaller defenders.
Here's Jamie Tate to the outer side. Well done by Whitehead to Koutafidis is good. He's been busy and Manted couldn't take the mark, but he's got support in Gleeson. He'll need help too. Madden, which way will he go? Nowhere really. Deer should get Richmond out of trouble. Away to the running Matthew Knights. Suddenly they go over the centre, up towards half forward, and a great mark taken by Nash. Well, he's kicked 5. Too far out to score unless he plays on. Sees the lead, puts out the pass to Richardson. Can't complete the mark. Gleeson caught at the bottom. May just about be pinned. He has.
Go. No. Unfair then. I thought Nash did pretty well. And the umpire made the wrong decision. He was behind the mark, surely.
Well, he's been brought back. Kick number 12 coming up. He's booted 5 goals, and he's going to be kicking from 55. Slightly stammered approach and goes very close to the man on the mark. Gets plenty of height because of it, and it comes off the pack for 1 behind.
You don't see that very often, do you? The old torpedo. But when you've kicked 5, and there's nothing really on. Well, I suppose 6 with a big torque would have been very nice.
My word. The captain has had his spell, James Cook. He'll be coming back on shortly. Milhana will be bringing it back into play. Well, it's certainly set up for a big last quarter as Ratton goes to bomb. Got a bit of space. Carlton without a number of big stars. Putting up a fine performance. Richmond too have a few out, including of course Tony Free, who's with us.
behind the microphone. There's the young boy who was mentioning, Jason Tawney, getting a touch, which was good. Dundas, an opportunity close to the boundary line, but Hogg's wearing him like a glove. Knights now couldn't catch Ratton. Here's a chance for Camberelli. Over the centre he goes. His touch, play on. Luke O'Sullivan. Well, plays it like a rhino. Elliott gets a hurried kick. It's high, up over the middle once more. Carlton again out of trouble, and doing it well. Steaming away is Ange Christou. Spalding caught standing still and bang, paid the price. But they've still got possession. They've got the runners out wide and they're going to have to use them. Inside 50 now. James Cook, who just came onto the ground, put it down the throat of Hogg.
Young Whitehead's got a lot of touches.
My word, he's a
good little hand
player.
Yeah.
12 kicks and 7 hand passes for Whitehead.
Just inconspicuous, but just does some really good stuff with the footy. Sets up the next play.
Dundas in the back pocket. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Dean using the body, but then couldn't quite get a touch. There is Whitehead, taken high. Nick Daffy offending. And Whitehead for kick number 13.
Someone's got a dull Waitman-like left hand, hasn't he? That little dinky left hand that he used to do.
Quick and accurate.
Yeah.
Yes, the flea. Duncan Kellaway taking his jumper. Minus number 3. That was Prescott kicking back towards the middle. And that's a high mark taken by Camberelli. Done pretty well. Gleeson on 50 can go on. Thought about it for a moment, but then Elliott descended on the mark. Adrian Gleeson being used off the bench sparingly. 55 metres out, won't make the distance. Cook at the back, should go. James Cook gets his third. He booted 2 in the...
The Tigers are back and on the attack, and the Richmond Football Club need every one of its supporters to be part of the tough attack. Ring now for your 95 season membership. Show your pride. Show the world you're Tiger tough.
Kick 14-3. They continue their unbelievable accuracy. Koutafidis will get the ball clear. Combines with Christou. Handball over the top. Pearce in trouble. Helped out by Hogg. Tries to tap it to the advantage. Pearce goes back and has another go, which is good teamwork there by the Blues. Pearce's kick for goal has just missed.
I don't think that is their first blemish for the quarter. I think they kicked 7 straight. In fact, they had for the turn. So 7-1 as Latin has a spell.
Quite wasteful, really.
Turner to kick in for the Tigers. Goes to the far side of the ground. Good long kick. Out there is Deer. Taps it on for Howard. He's going to get run down. Good chasing. Ball spills now for Ratton. Tries to give the hand pass away. Kicked off the ground by Dean. Goes back towards the half-forward area. Gatherers by Manton in towards the centre of the ground. The mark is taken by Koutafidis. Gets the hand pass away. Ratton again. Kick slews off the side of his boot a little. Spalding. Handball to Gleeson. Approaching 50 metres. Gleeson goes for goal. Long kick to the square. Oh! The big leap. Couldn't take it. Onto the left foot. And he's kicked a goal. So Alan Thorpe, in his first game for what would probably be his 4th league club, is it, Sandy? He's now kicked 5 goals.
In fact, 3 actually. Footscray, Sydney originally, yeah. And once again, I mean, Earl Sporting kicked it in high. Gleeson actually is going to be an important player in the last quarter, I think. He might have some legs left. I mean, he does have a fair income jump at it, which you don't mind. Has the poise to recover, and once again on that left foot, he is dangerous.
5 goals to Alan Thorpe in his first game with his new club, and the Blues 15-4 plays 12-6 kick clear. So Richmond are going to have to do something in this final term. Dundas tries to get it out. Peter Dean did what Wayne Grady did at Huntingdale twice.
What, put Chris Bond in a scissor grip?
No, missed. There went his chances. The jacket.
Had the least number of shots too, I believe, for the rounds.
Because he missed a couple. Deer. Gleeson. Up to half forward. The Tigers trying to defend. Oh, Howard's hand pass not clear as yet. Carlton trying to finish it off. Kellaway at the bottom of the pack. Carlton players asking the question, come on, he was sitting on it, but they get nothing from the umpire.
I couldn't believe how important that touch Sullivan's was then. You know, just that stop that handball, just that frustrating little bit of thing that he's done a few bits of this quarter. I mean, it's just been terrific.
Under 20 seconds left, and it's still pretty hot here, still 25 degrees. Carlton are the only ones that can score for the rest of this quarter. 20 metres out from goal, and that wasn't very subtle, but it is over the line. And it's going to be thrown in, so Richmond will be safe.
Yeah, just telling you, a sort of lack of talking there, wasn't it, really?
Probably, yeah. I think the only thing that saved him was he was probably 30 metres from the line. If he had been a bit closer, they would have pinged him.
From the throw-in. Nothing for Craig Bradley. It's three-quarter time. What a fine quarter by Carlton. They booted 8 goals, 1, and at three-quarter time, the Blues have moved to 15-4-94, leading Richmond 12-6-78. Third quarter, 8 goals to 2, and Carlton have surged to the lead 15-4-94. Richmond are 12-6-78. Quite a transformation, Dipper. Can the Blues go on with it? Can Richmond come back?
Well, at the moment, the two huddles send out two different messages. The Blues are absolutely pumped. A lot of backslapping in there, and David Parkin was very proud of his boys there. And guys like Ange Christo just completely took over from the half-back line since half-time, and Kudafidis is playing quite well, giving players like Cook and Allen, these players up the forward line, a chance to kick goals. Whereas Richmond, well, they came in heads down, so looking for an excuse, but Richmond have played good football all night. I think the Carlton will win this game, but I reckon about 3 goals.
Righto, thank you, Dipper. On the boundary line, as John Northey has his final words to his charges. Some good news here for those people who support the Drug Rehabilitation Centre Odyssey House, and if you're a drug rehabilitation centre that does such a marvellous job. Well, Tony Free, can your boys come back? Are they fit enough?
I think they're fit enough. Against North Melbourne last week, they finished the game out very well. I was just scanning over the huddle there, and there are a few dejected boys. Their heads are down. They look a little bit bewildered. So, you know, we need Benny and Matthew Knights and a few of the guys to get around the boys and have a bit of a chat and really get them pumped up. But they've certainly got the fitness to come back.
What are your thoughts, Malcolm?
Well, I just think that Carlton certainly can play like that. They are a burst side, and when they dominate out of the middle as they did then in that early part of the quarter, they are still a very dangerous side. And obviously the stats are well in their favour in that quarter. And one of the funny things about it was Richmond now, who were 16-4 down at free kicks at half-time, just played their worst quarter, got more free kicks 6-5 than Carlton. Overall, once again, Carlton tend to chip the ball a bit more than what Richmond do. Richmond, I still think they have those problems of really kicking long and bombing away occasionally too often, and the centre breaks, of course, dominated in that quarter then by Carlton.
Still 25 degrees here at Waverley Park. Just about set to go, though, in the final quarter. We've only had one major casualty tonight. That was umpire Darren McCauley. He's been taken to hospital for observation after a collision. Let's hope that he's okay. 94 plays 78, only 16 points in it. And Carlton have come from 30 points down. So the Tigers, well, if they're good enough, they'll come back. Kudafidis rides the bump and gives it to Gleeson, who tumbles it high in the air around his body. Spalding takes a fine mark. Tell you what, if Carlton get the first one, they might find it tough, the Tigers. That hand pass was interesting for Camberelli. Hogg goes back towards Spalding again. He gives it towards Luke O'Sullivan from 51 metres. O'Sullivan heads towards goal. In towards full forward. Over the top it goes. No mark is taken. Howard is there. So too Prescott, and he takes it over the line, conceding a behind.
Just noticed there that Turner's come out onto Spalding just to probably, you know, take advantage of that height that they were lacking there earlier with Johnny Howard.
Speaking of Howard, brings it back in. Turner was in the pack, but Kellaway was in front. The winner going on to meet St Kilda, who beat the Dockers yesterday at East Fremantle. Here's a chance for Stewie Maxfield. From 50, he lets one go. In towards full forward. Richardson's his target. Gale is also there. And then it's Gale round the body. Can't quite get a kick. Richardson tries to get it even further, but he too runs into trouble. And it's over the line for a throw-in.
Interesting, some teams over the years have had a set play on that. They actually handball the ball back in front of the goals from that position rather than waste the extra time of having a kick.
Throw in the right forward pocket for Richmond. Desperate, an early goal.
I think the kick there was always going to be smothered too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You could see it from a couple of seconds prior.
Michael Sexton sitting on the bench. Another throw. Feedy's at the back. Madden, front spot, wins it down. Taken away by Whitehead. Gets it back almost towards centre wing. Spalding taken out of it. Turner's hand pass was interesting. Spalding takes advantage of it. O'Sullivan like lightning out to Bradley if it sets he's in business. Craig Bradley forward of centre wing. Back to the Rhino. Runs into trouble. Back to Bradley. Pumps it onto the left foot. High in towards half forward. And a fine mark taken by Kellaway.
Play on.
Not paid. You paid it, Malcolm?
I certainly would, yes. I thought he'd get a fairly good grab at the first one. And most times, 9 times out of 10, they do pay them, don't they?
Well, he says nothing. There's a bit of a look and gets on with the job.
Well, you lose concentration if you start arguing with umpires, so I think he's done the right thing.
Ruck work, Deere and Manton. Ball goes straight through Jamie Tate, but he was tackled when he didn't have the football, according to the umpire, so he'll take the free kick for Richmond in the right back pocket. Looks to move the ball on quickly, and a short kick finds Bond. Bond just outside 50 metres for the Tigers, kicks it back towards the wing, but now that height of Spalding is starting to tell for the Blues. He's allowed to play on a little too easily, and he kicks it well inside 50 metres. Cook should have taken the mark, couldn't get his foot to it, back in there for a second go at it. Still a struggle for possession. Now Kellaway has the football. Little hand pass away to Tate. Tate goes wide out towards the wing. Richardson and Dean. Richardson a long way down. Kicks it off the ground and it slews off the side of his boot on the full. So the free kick to be taken for Carlton by Peter Dean. And he kicks it to the player that was on the mark in Richardson. So a rare mistake there by Dean. The ball at centre half forward for Richmond. Dundas gets his foot to it. Christou interferes with Dundas. And the umpire very close to the action. Matthew Dundas will take the free kick. He's looking to play on. Short kick. It's okay. The mark is taken by Daffy. Now Daffy would be within scoring distance.
Confident about this kick, Tony?
Very confident. Important kick, isn't it? 3 goals behind. Definitely need this one.
Daffy kicking for his first goal. He hooks the kick.
And Peter Dean is just breathed a big sigh of relief. I just hopefully, I mean, he's obviously a very experienced player. I mean, you just got to forget that sort of stuff. I mean, unfortunately, mistakes happen.
And what's
Flag still being put away
before the goal umpire had finished his duties.
And Hannah returns. And he says, Daniel, will do it again. And he does. To the outer side. Richmond have the numbers with Maxfield at the back. Just flicks it over the top. Dundas, short little chip, effective. Gale inside 50. Continues the surge. They desperately need a goal. They've got one.
Hit the post.
One behind.
Interesting play that now. What's happened is that those little short kicks to the pockets in the games, I think, are going to go out. There will be the full back taking off and setting up with play. Once again, kicking long to Madden down the middle. Just left a few Richmond players, if it's turned over in, you just leave a few. Oh, there, he's kicked it in the pocket. Fantastic. I think you'll see less of it anyhow.
Hannah towards centre wing. Campbell flying from behind, but Koutafidis was in front and has taken some good grabs tonight.
It's going to be a dangerous player.
11 marks.
A running player that can mark like that puts in whole new dimensions of the running game.
Elliott's kick only as far as Madden.
Oh, I tell you what, that was well done by Justin Madden in the finish.
Well done by Dean too.
Yep.
He gets it off to Bradley. That's not a good kick.
Well, when you start trying to pinpoint it with not much margin for error, I suppose it's got to break down eventually, and it's Chris Bond for the Tigers between right half back and centre wing. kicks it high. Madden gets the punch away, and in going for that punch has interfered with Brendan Gale. So it looks as though Gale will take the free kick.
Yes, it's a committed jump, isn't it, from Richardson? Unfortunately, very awkward, and both of them have now got very sore hips.
Well, Gale comes away with the doctor attending as Richardson kicks Richmond towards centre-half forward, punched away by Hannah. Ball rebounds for Edwards, who's now on the ground. Deere quickly gets his left foot to it. Camporelli made a contest with Daffy. Daffy's recovery was good. Snapshot for goal by Nick Daffy is offline and through for another behind to the Tigers when they could desperately do with a goal.
Simon Beaumont also on the ground, and Glenn Manton having a spell.
Camporelli in the hands of the trainers for Carlton
as Hannah brings it into Crystal. Big Ange goes up towards centre wing. Advantage is being paid here to Carlton's Peter Dean, who shows the Tiger boys a bit of the footy, then goes up towards half forward. Thorpe's had a field day here. He does the shepherding for young Beaumont. Just come onto the ground and didn't quite go out of bounds on the full. Throw in to take place. Crowd tonight of 23,678. I don't know who was nearest the pin.
I was, because I had the piece of paper with it on.
Dipper's guess wasn't bad.
Yeah, no, I think Dipper did say about 22, so well done. Madden out the back door. Kudafidi, done well. Oh, brilliant. This could spell trouble for Richmond. Matthew Hogg kicks his first.
Sunday.
The Blues lead by 20 points, and we've got 14 and a half minutes left in the game. Madden tries to get it down to Gleeson. Gleeson couldn't quite control it, but will receive a free kick.
It's been a great set play from Carlton over the years, isn't it? Little tap just over the other ruckman's head, running rover.
Gleeson towards full forward. Cook up high, couldn't take the mark. Bradley tries to crash through with the football. Away goes Campbell. Sweeping hand pass in the direction of Maxfield. But Gleeson, Malcolm nominated, will have legs left in the last quarter, doing pretty well. Bradley tries to tap it on, succeeds. This is O'Sullivan again. Shrugs 2 tackles and then goes with the right foot. Kicks to the goal front. Thorpe, recovery, not too bad. Elliott, and Thorpe holding on to Elliott. Didn't have the football. Jamie Elliott will take it for the Tigers. Hand pass across to the goal square, or near the goal square. Kick back by Prescott. Big punch by Spalding, back towards half forward. Ooh, strong play by Callaway. Had eyes right on the football, and we've seized the free kick, the tackle too high.
Yes, you'd say that was a definite free kick.
So Callaway gets it away to Hart. He goes up over the centre, and Daffy takes it. Swings it towards half forward. Richardson's his target. Got a hand to it, but that was all. They desperately need a couple very, very quickly. Bond at the bottom of the pack gets it out nicely towards Christou. Tries to surge it further away, but Richmond keep hanging in there. And Maxfield gives the hand pass away. Here's an opportunity for Naish. He's a dynamo in front of goal. Chris Naish shoots towards goal, and he's kicked number 6.
Yes, it was great persistence all the way around there from the Richmond side. And I think that one of the things about Naish is, I mean, you know that if he can get possessions, and unfortunately he's going to have his quiet spots through a year, and I think that's happened in his career, and people get very critical of him, where I think just an occasional run up the ground or something like that will just help him as a player. Pretty smart play here by Maxwell, and this is what I like about him. He's got 3 different paces, and that's when he's getting near goals, he gets very quick.
He seemed to have so much poise too compared to the other couple of players that attempted the goals for Richmond in the last 5 minutes, and that's what you need in front of goals.
13 minutes left. Carlton lead by 14 points. Rogers taps it clear. O'Sullivan a chance. Taken away by Deere. Christou is there. He'd probably outrun Deere, but he gets the hand pass to Gleeson instead. Gleeson goes down the wing. Player on his own is Hogg. Hogg can carry the ball. One bounce, then a short pass is good. The mark is taken by Cook. Now Cook is about 45 metres out on about a 45-degree angle. He's kicked 3. And I would think there's a blue on behind the goals down there that she's pointing out, Sandy.
Yeah, it's not a very pleasant one either.
Well, we'll get back to the football. James Cook will certainly kick the distance. He's a thumping kick. This is no exception. It's a goal. Cook kick.
Control as we go back to the centre. Madden, but it's Rogers who tries to whip it out of the middle with a hand pass. Not going to be successful. Whitehead loses it to Maxfield. Maxfield gives it to Bond. He goes towards half forward. Dundas was swamped. Carlton finishing full of running. And here they go. Gleeson. Straight through the middle goes Adrian Gleeson. Has a look up towards the half forward line. Puts out the pass. And the mark taken once again by James Cook.
Doesn't touch his Gleeson. Just over, well, about a quarter of footy, I suppose, really.
4 to Cook at the moment. Took a long time for Gleeson to negotiate a satisfactory contract. He didn't sign until about the last 2 or 3 weeks, so an advantage there for the Blues to have an experienced campaigner like he on their list.
So it says David will be pretty happy with things at the moment.
Yes, a good start for the Blues. Looks as though they'll be the ones who will meet St Kilda.
This would be some sort of a goal, wouldn't it?
Gone short from here, really.
Koutafidis might. Around the body he comes, but can't bring it back far enough. And one behind him. But an excellent night for Koutafidis.
I've seen him play centre-half back. I've seen him play full forward. I've seen him play on the forward line. I've now seen him play on the ball. He's going to be a very, very handy player for Carlton.
Where would you like to see him?
Well, I think if he can ruck Rove type of player and rest on a half-forward flank type, he's going to be dangerous kick goals as well.
Spalding and Pearce both have a few problems.
So 25 possessions, Koutafidis, with 11 marks.
Pearce takes the free kick. Carlton go deep in towards their attacking zone again. Thorpe got a hand at that. He almost held it. It doesn't matter because Earl Spalding. Oh, Earl.
Just got that little crab. As this LBA goes to kick the ball, he's just got that little crab sideways movement, hasn't he? It just makes it very, very difficult.
And opposing coach to David Parkin, John Northey. Just assessing what work is required for his Tigers after tonight's game. Kellaway up before acceptances. Gives away a free kick.
We've blown some lights, Sandy. At least one set of lights has gone out.
Yes, it was down the end where the Barney was too, I think. Thorpe marks in the meantime. Well, what a night he's had. 1 goal in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third. He's kicking from 47 metres. He'd like to finish the night with 6. Alan Thorpe!
Put your name on a Holden Rodeo from...
The Richmond supporters, 115, plays 87, and even the scoreboard's blown. So we'll be relying on some expert advice down the right-hand end. The little one's still in business. Gale goes for the football, couldn't take the mark. Bradley off the ground to his own advantage, but close to the line. Craig Bradley takes it over.
Played very well again, hasn't he?
Well, he's a real pro, Bradley. 25 possessions and has kicked a goal. About 75 metres around from the Richmond goal. Madden and Gale. Madden gets his left hand to it. It's gathered by Naish. Naish hooks that left foot in towards half forward, but it's taken by Bond. Thinking about Bond's game and playing in defence, Naish has kicked 6 goals, but Bond has had quite a few possessions for the Blues, 13. The kick goes towards the wing where Koutafidis takes a good safe chest mark and plays on rather arrogantly in the finish. Campbell, the player on the mark, kicks towards centre half forward. Cook couldn't take the mark. Chases after it again. Gathered nearly there by Beaumont. And it slips out of his hands over for a boundary throw-in.
I was just thinking about Carlton's forward line. There seems to be so much pressure on Kernahan, but you look at the Thorpe coming in, Cook kicking goals. I mean, it just seems to add so much more potency, and the season looks good for them.
Yes, well, they've got additions not only to their forward line, Tony, but right around the ground. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Blues can produce after such a disappointing finals performance last season. Well done, and it's going to be Gleeson to finish it off and poke it up towards right half forward. Scott Camperelli stabs it in towards the forward line, putting it inside 50. Cook couldn't take it at the back. Tigers seeming somewhat dispirited now, realising that they're going to be out of this competition. And that possibly tells the story for the Tigers. Madden, however, to do the ruck work up against Edwards. Madden front spot, Bradley down there still working hard, so too Bond. Bradley again, Knight supplies the tackle, Bond's at the bottom. Yes, thank you, he said, I'll have that free kick.
Bradley's going to get it, I think. Tackled a little bit too high by Matthew Knights, just a fraction of a second earlier than that last one.
Certainly a couple there. As we've said, another big night, 26th possession for Craig Bradley. Out the back it comes towards Kurtafidis and Cook. But the latter has it back to Cook again. He may get another hand pass out. He does to Luke O'Sullivan. He's just got sheer strength as he tries to storm his way through. But he's away to the left. 18-8, 13-9. Excellent kicking for goal again by both sides as Turner brings it back into play.
Turner gets a good boot on it, well outside 50 metres. Spalding couldn't take the mark. Elliott for Richmond. Edwards now. Short kick in towards the centre of the ground, but should be taken by Whitehead. Gets the hand pass away under a little bit of difficulty, and then Ratton is interfered with by Rogers. Rogers not happy. Ratton will take the free kick just forward of the centre area. Short kick towards half forward, out in front of Thorpe, leaves it behind, taken by Prescott. He's got a little bit of space in front of himself now. Prescott goes with the left foot out towards the wing, where McQueen uses his body well and then gets a long sweeping hand pass to Gale. Gale gives it back to Rogers, who leaves it behind. Then Gale went after it. His kick slews off the side of the boot, and the mark is taken quite simply by Christou. Hand pass away to Hannah, and the Blues are out of trouble.
Mil Hannah goes to the outer side of the ground, and he finds Troy Bond, who heads up towards the centre wing. No mark taken. Bradley keeps working hard towards the boundary line in front of Jamie Tate. 17 kicks, 9 hand passes and a couple of marks to Craig Bradley. Oh, don't worry, dear. Madden and Edwards. And Beaumont had a short little chip kick that really went nowhere. Tigers might start something here. And Naish looking to get the hand pass over the top to McQueen. Back to Naish. He stabs it to half forward, and Richardson takes the mark. 55 out, maybe a little more. Long, long way.
Just haven't been dominant in the air, the two big fellas, have they? Benny Gale or Matthew Richardson? Hasn't been down there as much in the second half, but they just haven't been dominant.
6 marks. He's gone for the doctor. Pulled it into the pocket. It's going to stay in. Daffy charges after it. Can't get there. The defensive hand pass goes back towards Elliott. Can't quite keep it in play. Another try. Inside now the last 6 minutes. That Tiger fan can still smile. He's got a long and hopefully successful year ahead of him. Gleeson gives it away to Bond. Again, he goes to the outer side towards Camporelli and Maxfield. Stuart Maxfield leads in the race, then puts it out in front to give himself another showing. Camporelli persistent in the little tunnel ball out the back door.
Been an interesting player tonight, hasn't he, Camporelli? Just
11 kicks.
Yeah, can only improve, can't he? I mean, hasn't been dominant by any means, but he's done some good work.
Madden gets rid of Edwards, but it finishes with Rogers. His left foot snap is away to the left, way away to the left.
Interesting, David Parkin's comment during the week that he's been disappointed with Carlton in pre-season games, and they really were trying to win this one, and he's copped some injuries with it, but perhaps they're going to cop a win too.
Hannah's kick goes wide, out wide towards Madden. In there is McQueen. Oh, Bond is slung by Gleeson. The ball spills over for a boundary throw-in. Crowd just getting a little anxious as the evening nears its end. Boundary throw-in about 85 to 90 metres around from the Richmond goal. Edwards does well, gets it down to Bond. Bond can't clear the pack. Maxfield tackle. Comes back to Bond. Bond a high kick in towards the forward pocket region. Dean tries to tap it clear of the boundary line. This kick coming in from the forward pocket by Maxfield spills over for a boundary throw-in. Right forward pocket for the Tigers. It was actually McQueen that delivered that kick. 18-8 to 13-9. Hogg didn't have the football, and that's the way the umpire sees it. He calls play on. So allowed to run away with the football is Christou. 3 bounces. He approaches left half back, then goes in short. Koutoufides, a brilliant gather. The pickup was made to look so simple, and then he's kicked towards half forward, lets himself down a little bit, and puts it on the chest of Prescott. Prescott is at wide of centre half back, and see the 50-metre line in the background there. He kicks it back near the centre of the ground, and a good mark taken by Naish. He looks to play on, gets the hand pass to Gale. Gale forced to kick with the left foot. Gets 45 metres up towards full forward. Hannah is there for the Blues. Good judgment by Hannah. Assesses the situation, delivers a short kick, bounces nicely for Dean. 1 bounce, he runs through the centre, draws a player, and then the hand pass over the top to Camporelli. His kick in towards centre half forward, and it's been marked by Bradley.
I mean, Maxfield got sucked in, and he really didn't need to. All he did was just stay with his player and force Dean to kick it. I mean, to pop it over your head like that, I mean, it's just suicidal for the opposition. Bradley goes wide with a beautifully weighted kick. Camporelli is marked about 35 metres from goal on a 45-degree angle. Mention about his debut, 15 possessions, and he's kicked a goal, so he would be reasonably pleased with his first-up effort in AFL. When you just think about the game, it was really that 10 minutes in that third quarter, wasn't it, where that tremendous drive out of the centre from Carlton, and they've been a very consistent side over the last 2 years, and the young fella's kicked his second goal.
Okay, another one that's got to come back into the Blues lineup. We've spoken, of course, about Williams, Kernahan and co. So it looks set for a promising year. Edwards gives the hand pass to Kellaway. Around his body he swings, then kicks up towards half forward. Naish is giving away plenty of height to Peter Dean, who gets it off to Hogg. Camporelli on the outer side.
Just love seeing that. Everything Dean's done since has been absolutely polished, hasn't it?
Well, I think he's been a terrific player for Carlton over the years, Peter Dean.
It's a good mark, strong mark by Brad Pearce. He kicked the goal in the third quarter. Picked up 10 kicks, taken a couple of marks. Floats it in towards full forward. Tape at the back. So too Beaumont. Look at that for a wobbly one off the boot and through for 1 behind. Simon Beaumont opens his scoring account. 19-9, plays 13-9.
Yeah, one of the young lads from the Central District's under-18s competition, which is really now a very, very successful breeding ground for AFL footballers. It's a great system now.
Carlton 6 goals up, and at one stage they were 5 goals down. So they've turned it all around. This is Duncan Kellaway. Under 2 minutes now remaining in this match. Goes short and finds Bond. Another chip to the outer side. Tigers realising the time is up. Scotty Turner goes over the centre. Justin Murphy got up a mile, but all to no avail. Does enjoy a fly every now and again, but at times it tended to upset Richardson tonight when they both flew together. But very early days yet. Here's Spalding. Put in Carlton. Inside 50 once again. Cook almost juggled it.
Just a little problem with Cook. He goes to ground. If he doesn't get it, he goes to ground a fair bit, doesn't he? He's just got to learn to keep on his feet to try and, if he doesn't get it, to get the second contest.
Just over a minute left to put Johnny Northey out of his misery for this evening anyway. The Blues in the left forward pocket. Jamie Tate trying to get the ball clear for the Tigers, but the umpire will be forced to bounce. It's about 35 metres from the Carlton goal.
I mean, losing this game is disappointing. I mean, there's nothing, you can learn a lot from a game like this, and I think that Richmond, they have been disappointing in the second half, as Gleeson has a shot on his left foot, high into the goal square.
Good. Koutoufides. Cook's going to kick a goal anyway.
Yes, well, isn't that interesting? He kept his feet and kicked the goal.
Great recovery there by James Cook in the goal square. Gleeson's kick to the goal front was disciplined, and Cook has now kicked 5 for the Blues.
Yeah, we watched this replay again. See the players just standing there, they're pretty tight. Kudafidis again, just sensational and tight. Great spot, wasn't it? Probably a little bit deep. Kept his feet, bang, goal. Fantastic. 5 goals.
Yeah, it's been a good night for a number of the forwards. 5 goals to James Cook.
He was on the bench for a while too.
Yep. Alan Thorpe, 6. And of course, let's not forget for Richmond, Chris Naish, 6. And Matthew Richardson, 4.
Yeah, I mean, all it does now is upset your pre-season plans. That's
well,
all.
You've got to go travelling everywhere, don't you, and see if you can get a game.
Yes.
Which is a bit of a worry. Edwards goes with a roundhouse right from the middle. Peter Dean leaves it for Camperelli. Naish spears one wide to Maxfield. Back to Naish again. Richmond chip it forward, down towards Richardson, who's well outside 50, but he picks it up now. Claimed by Camperelli. The ball spills free. Peter Dean's got time to come away. Gives it across to Craig Bradley. Back to Peter Dean. The two veterans combined. On to Bond. On the outer side, Bond chips it up towards the 50-metre line. That looks like Cook going to ground, Malcolm. O'Sullivan in trouble, but he's full of strength and power. He surges forward. It doesn't matter. It's all over. David Parkin, Cole Kinnear and his men are through to the next round with an emphatic victory over Richmond. 20 goals, 9. 129 to 13-9, 87.
Sandy, the Blues kicked 13-6 from half-time to Richmond's 3 goals, 6.
Yes, Richmond booted 10-3 in the first half, but, well, after that, not good. All right, let's go down to the boundary line. Here's Dipper.
Thanks very much, Sandy. Well, young Cooker, a terrific win by the boys tonight. It was fantastic. You know, we got off to a bit of a slow start, and as expected, I guess, with a lot of new boys in the team, but we happened to really play well towards the end. And the way you finished off, a plenty of run, which has been a big question over Carlton on big grounds. Yeah, we've had a big pre-season, actually, which has probably helped us. And it seemed to show out tonight, you know. We kept running all night, which was good. Good on the boys, yeah. Now, Malcolm Blight wants to know, what position do you prefer to play? Wing, half forward, half back? I don't care as long as I'm on the ground, mate. It's a typical answer. Thanks very much. All right,
yes, thanks, Dipper. And well done to Coote. A fine performance by him tonight. 18 kicks and 12 marks. Final score on Carlton, 29-127. Too good for Richmond, 13-9, 87.
From the day they moved in, he wanted to share everything, especially his beautiful wife.
Just one night.
An offer too exciting to refuse. Now framed with her murder.
Your obsessive fixation on his wife.
You have to help me understand it.
I didn't kill her.
Only he can see the real murderer's deadly charm.
I got my wife and child.
Kevin Kline and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio on a roller coaster ride of suspense.
I'm not gonna leave you.
For the first time, Consenting Adults, 8:30 Sunday on Prime.
Has a unique flexible head. Its twin blades and special lubricating strip flex and curve to the exact contours of your face. Chic FX for a closer, more comfortable shave.
Chic, we're changing the face of shaving.
There were plenty of courses I could have done, but only one could teach me how to lead.
It's just an amazing feeling. It's been a fantastic experience.
I expected to learn about managing others. What I didn't realise was how much I'd learn about myself.
Australia's finest leadership and management college is looking for the leaders of tomorrow. So